listening to Reset Race. Be focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake. Lineage go back to U.S. Southern plantations. Lineage, Jim Crow and mass incarceration. Redline and lynchings. We are old from this nation. You're not about justice if you ain't for reparations. MG the wise one, cousin mother intellectual. Samantha bringing fire, anti-black, we pressing you. No permanent friends and no permanent enemies. The backbone of the country, the win, you need our energy. You gon' see, listening to Reset Race. You now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them.
Welcome back to Reset Race. I'm Michael Graham from Active 5 Press. You can call me MG. You can call me Michael. Just don't call me no bad names because I'm sensitive. All right. Today's show, man. Before we get to that, I'm gonna introduce you to my illustrious panel. Oh, and you can find me on Race Reset on Twitter, and you can find my writing on Active 5 Press. So we're gonna do what we always do. We're gonna let everybody introduce themselves. Of course, it's gonna be ladies first because we semi-gentlemen around here. Sam, you're up.
Okay, I'm gonna go through this quick because our intros be long as hell. So my name is Samantha Angelique. You can catch me on Twitter, Samantha Angelique, channeling Papa Legba harder. At me 17 trillion is so you can get there. So at me 17 trillion, give me my money. Mm-hmm. And I run We Will Not Suffer in Silence, www.nsis.org. Let's get into it because I'm ready. Ooh, Saagar, I'm ready. I'm so excited. You understand? I feel like it's Christmas and I'm 6 and there's a bunch of presents all around.
You need Jesus.
Hey, this is his dharma coming for him. Let's go.
All right, Mud, you up, baby.
That's the long intro. That's why my shit is short. So you can catch me on Twitter at of lineage, and you can also come to my YouTube channel. It's Bitter Dose TV, one word. That's it.
See there? Brevity is genius. All right, John, come on, hit me.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? It's John C. You can follow me on Twitter at John Daniel C. Average ADOS Negro. Like, I don't know why I'm here, but fuck it. I'm with my family as usual. We got somebody to put on the grill today, so we just gonna keep it. I'm gonna be quiet today. I ain't gonna say much. I'm gonna let y'all handle him, because he had this shit for a long time coming, boy. Woo! You about to see?
Yeah. Yes, sir. It has been a long time coming. All right, so
I've been wanting to get him for a minute too, because he says the most wild, outlandish, lying ass shit. But it's okay because we're gonna get to it. I don't have a problem with right. Listen, so you have a problem with right wing, like you left. I don't have a problem with Republicans. I have a problem with liars and assholes. There's not all of them fall into that category.
Lying asshole Republican.
Racist. Don't forget the racist. He is an anti-black racist.
Oh, we would get in there. We're gonna get
into
that.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead. Are we ready to start the video?
We're gonna steal something from them. Friend of the show, Black Women for Freedom, from Twitter. She sent us a link to this video from the Rising. Krystal Ball. The name of the video is Krystal Ball. Time to admit affirmative action failed. All right, we're already starting off wrong. Well, they're correct, but as you'll see in the video, they're going about this all wrong. So without further ado, we're going to dive into the video, and then we're going to do as we usually do. We're going to go through it piece by piece, and we're going to drop the arguments that it's going to destroy their arguments, and that's how we get down. Right,
and Saagar, I made charts for you, baby. Since you don't know how to read charts, I made very simple 3, I think a 3rd grader should be able to catch them, because I caught what you said. We're going to get to it, but yeah.
About to grill your ass, boy. You don't even know.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Krystal, what's on your radar?
Well, one of the more dramatic results to come out of the election that we haven't really fully had a chance to dig into yet was the clear rejection by California voters of affirmative action. That's a measure in that state which would have ended the 1990s era ban on the practice in hiring and public university admissions, and it lost in a 15-point landslide. In fact, the only places with majority support for that measure were LA and in and around San Francisco. Rest of the state, not having it whatsoever. In places like Fresno, for example, a working class city that's roughly half white and half minority, the measure failed by a margin of 2-1. Keep in mind, too, affirmative action's failure in California came against the backdrop of many other progressive priorities finding widespread support, from a $15 minimum wage hike in Florida to a tax.
I don't want to go deep into what she said, but she knows how she said, oh, there's all this progressive stuff. Well, Krystal, sweetheart, boo-boo baby, if you notice, progressives, most of them are against reparations too. So you people are not progressives. You're anti-Black racists. So basically what she's saying is this shows that people are anti-Black racists and they have issue with it. But we're going to keep going because I want to go a little bit farther in. And I'm actually going to give my opinion on affirmative action when we get a little bit further down.
Wait.
I got you. Go ahead. I got you.
I wanted to ask you though, because you're from that area. And like, aren't the majority of Black people like kind of in like LA and
they're less than 5%. California population of Black people is 5%. 5 statewide. So in LA, we're a little bit of the population, but LA is mainly Latinos, but they're Mexicans. LA has a lot of Mexicans. There are other racial ethnicities here, but the predominant in LA is Mexico, and I would probably say after that maybe Salvadorians. So, so when I was with ADOS LA, I had a meeting with what is her name? Oh my God, Holly. Her name is Holly. Oh my God, she just ran for. I'm so mad I'm not remember her name because she was actually really good to us. But she was in the state Senate, I think. But basically she was telling us how they wanted to bring back affirmative action, but she said that it doesn't translate in Spanish. But they did a bunch of advertising and stuff. But the thing about it is, like, people think that affirmative action is going to help Black people, so it turns them off, right? Yeah. But the gag is the number one beneficiary of affirmative action is white women. So, and then like being that the majority of people in LA and a lot of people in California are Latino, affirmative action would have helped them more. It would have helped white women and Latinos. Asians were the ones that pushed against it the hardest because they don't like having, they already mad. So they always push against anything, any type of gain for Black people. Like, I don't understand why y'all hate us so much, but whatever. And I'm not talking about y'all as individuals. I'm talking about your leadership. Because I can't talk about people as individuals. I'm talking about leadership. Yeah, that's what it is.
Did in Washington State as well. So before we go on, let's talk about the history of affirmative action. Okay, so the history of affirmative action. Lyndon B. Johnson. This is part of his push during the civil rights movement. This was pushing federal organizations to give black people, descendants of slaves, contracts and hire Black people in government. Right. That's basically what it was, and it was specifically for Black folks. Okay, for the descendants of slaves here in the United States, because we were so far behind because of all the history of slavery, Black codes, Jim Crow, and of course they piled on more stuff since then. But it's important to know that's the basic history of affirmative action. You guys can look that up anytime you get ready. So we have to be clear about who it was for.
And then y'all can see that this video is the Lyndon B. Johnson remarks at Howard University. The full video is like 40 something minutes, so y'all might want to watch it. But this is the part where he talks, because this is during the time when he first did affirmative action. So it was for us. It wasn't for everybody. It wasn't for white women. It wasn't for people of color. Y'all could be mad about that, but this was supposed to be a way to start to try to level the playing field for Black people, not for people of color, because people of color were not slaves, redline, Jim Crow. Like, that's not what you went through.
Nor for white women.
Let's not even get started on.
Touches us. That beginning is freedom, and the barriers to that freedom are tumbling down. Freedom is the right to share fully and equally in American society, to vote, to hold a job, to enter a public place, to go to school. It is the right to be treated in every part of our national life as a person equal in dignity and promise to all others. But freedom is not enough. You do not wipe away the scars of centuries by saying now, you are free to go where you want and do as you desire and choose the leaders you please. You do not take a person who for years has been hobbled by chains and liberate him, bringing up to the starting line of a race, and then say, you are free to compete with all the others, and still justly believe that you have been completely fair. Thus, it is not enough just to open the gates of opportunity. All our citizens must have the ability to walk through those gates. And this is the next and the more profound stage of the battle for civil rights. We seek not just freedom, but opportunity. We seek not just legal equity, but human ability. Not just equality as a right and a theory, but equality as a fact and equality as a result. For the task is to give 20 million Negroes the same chance as every other American to learn and grow, to work and share in society, to develop their abilities, physical, mental, and spiritual, and to pursue their individual happiness. To this end, equal opportunity is essential, but not enough. Not enough. Men and women of all races are born with the same range of abilities. But ability is not just the product of birth. Ability is stretched or stunted by the family that you live with and the neighborhood you live in, by the school you go to, and the poverty or the richness of your surroundings. It is the product of 100 unseen forces playing upon the little infant, the child, and finally the man.
In Arizona, to ranked choice voting in Alaska, progressive ballot initiatives overall had a pretty good night. Now, some activists have blamed the wording on the particular affirmative action ballot initiative, but as David Leonhardt points out over at the Times, affirmative action has actually failed in every single state where it has been tested at the ballot box over the past 30 years. So clearly, even in a state that votes overwhelmingly and routinely for Democratic candidates, a state which went strongly for Bernie Sanders in the primary, affirmative action is...
Bernie Sanders is on some anti-Black racist shit. Again, anti-Black racists, progressives, a lot anti-Black racists. And for those of y'all, if you feel triggered when I say progressives are anti-Black racists, then I need you to come holler at me 17 trillion. And if you are not an anti-Black racist, get out here and fight with us for this reparations, and I will elevate you, and I will tell people like, hey, this person was really disturbed by this. But if you don't understand that certain things that are going on are anti-Black racism, you're gonna have to get over it. Like, a thing is a thing. I don't, no matter how I feel, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of motherfuckers acting like just because you're a progressive that clears you of like any claim of racism or like enabling white supremacy. Like that's just being a progressive doesn't mean shit to me.
It's I
Like,
vote Dem. I vote
yeah,
Democrat.
like,
but it's the same. But it's the same shit over and over again. It's like
yeah,
it's take it or leave it policy. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, this like John said on the first show. Just it's not what we need. We're telling you what we need. Saying, or even when Sam said the last show, she said the customers will tell you. The customers will tell you what you need, what they need,
what you want.
And
Yeah, customers will tell you what they
and
want.
We're telling them, but they're still curating their black folks to make them feel comfortable and make them feel as if they're doing a great job of being pro-black or pro whatever they want to call themselves. But at the end of the day, the policy doesn't fit. It just simply does not. So we'll go more into that later. John, did you have something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Krystal, you got Krystal Ingram here, making Kelly Jr. making Kelly Jr. to the left. Oh my lord, yo, the game is that she is playing right here, man. She's really doing, like we always talk about, the anti-black class reduction. This is shit. These motherfuckers is masters at this shit, because she's like, yo, affirmative action is polling in states where it's 2-to-1 minority, the white minority. You see how she said that shit?
Minority.
We can get into that later though, but as far as
like I said, black people are 5% in LA, so minority. Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So basically, what she's saying is shit. She's like, and these are the same states that Bernie Sanders won with $15 minimum wage and the Green New Deal, but they wasn't for affirmative action because, like Mud said, like we just played the LBJ video because it's tied to the American descendants of slavery, us, the DOS. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they know they don't want no, and they. Even the minority, the quote-unquote minority groups.
Sorry, John. I don't want to cut you.
Okay.
Don't use DOS.
Sure.
No, don't use DOS. And let me tell you why. I just finished watching this thing on a sex cult, and DOS is what they call the sex slaves. So if you go so you gotta you either gotta say DOS.
I'm talking about the American DOS. I'm
telling you.
Sex slaves. Hell no, I don't know nothing about that shit.
Do you understand what I'm saying? You gotta break that one. So either you gotta say DOS. But no DOS by itself. So I'm sorry.
I'm talking about I ain't talking about no damn sex slaves, man. Sex slaves don't get affirmative action.
I know.
Affirmative action is not for sex slaves, man.
John.
No, I'm fucking with you, sis.
I know what you're saying, bro. But go ahead. Can you start over though? I'm sorry. I just had to jump in like, ooh, yeah, don't, because when you said DOS, I was like, ooh.
Throw that in there.
All right, cut it down. You can cut that. You keep it in. I don't give a fuck.
You want me to leave it in there?
Yeah, that's
fine. Whatever, okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the American DOS.
I just don't want people thinking that you trafficking white women, okay?
Oh, nah, I thought you was about to say like, I thought you first would be like, nigga, now don't say DOS because we ain't Jamaicans and shit. I'm like, oh, my bad. But then you like, yo, DOS a sex slave. I said, what the fuck? You like, yo, affirmative action not for no damn sex slaves, John. I'm like, oh, my bad. You know what I'm saying? My bad. But basically what I was saying though is that the reason why she's basically doing anti-black class reduction fucking games and shit, because what she just did was she was like, yo, this is the same states with $15 an hour minimum wage is popular. Medicare for all is popular, but affirmative action not. So basically, don't give those Negroes nothing. Stop talking about Negro problems. Shh, don't do it. Keep them at the bottom. So that's the game that she playing. Not bad.
Right.
It's downright toxic. So what should we take from this? How should we think about it? Well, let's start with this. It's an obvious point, but often overlooked. A policy's popularity and its merit are two very distinct things. Not only do I have no problem with parties and politicians advocating for some unpopular positions, but I've actually had a lot of contempt for the ones who just follow the poll numbers and don't stick their neck out on anything as a matter of principle. It's easy to think of morally righteous positions, which were completely unpopular at the time, but proven correct ultimately by history. Bernie, of course, famously was on the unpopular side of a whole lot of issues throughout his career, from war to trade to gay rights, and he was correct.
people, but American descendants of slavery reparations is a step too far. That should tell y'all something, people. Listen, if you believe that you and your people should get everything, but you don't believe that Black Americans should get reparations, American descendants of slavery, people who descend from formerly enslaved folks, if you don't believe we should get reparations, but you think you should get Medicare for all, free college, you know, housing as a human right, and all this stuff, you're an anti-Black racist. Because I want all of those things for you. So why don't you want reparations for me?
And let's be clear, the possibility of getting all those things is built on the wealth that we created.
Thank you.
And let's not forget that, you know, because like we talked about before, the opportunity and land of opportunity is from the opportunity that created by the wealth and from our intellectual toil and our labor. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, we need to be clear about like why we keep bringing up reparations, because it's kind of intertwined. Like we need not only, you know, cash and, you know, capital, but we also need like set asides. We need special treatment, and part of it is like affirmative action. We need it to be specific to African Americans. Like that's, you know, about, you know, the descendants of slaves, American descendants of slaves. Yeah. You know, we need to, you know, American descendants of slavery, sorry. But we need to, you know, we need to be clear about, you know, getting these set-asides made specific to us instead of like, you know, for everyone, essentially. But, you know, that's the reason why it's unpopular. You know, that's the reason why, you know, it's anytime you want to help, you know, us, you know, America turns against it. America gets sour to it. But the thing is that you can't question the merit behind why these things need to happen.
No, you can't at all. You got something, John?
I think Cousin Mud said it all, man. Let's get into it, because I know she about to say some real anti-Black, anti-ADOS. You gonna get it. I know Sam got something. Sam got the clip loaded up.
Every
instance. Grill your ass.
However, I will say that while policies should certainly be judged on their merits rather than their popularity, there's something a little odd and very white savior patronizing about the fact that affirmative action appears to be most popular among white liberals and viewed with indifference or even contempt among the very racial minorities it's supposed to aid.
Yeah.
And here we go again. I'm sorry. And here we go again. It was not for them. It was not for y'all. It was not for y'all. So the people who are against it the most are Asians and white Hispanics. Why? Because they are eating everything here. So that's what it all boils down to. And I'm so tired of Asian people fighting against affirmative action. Why don't you motherfuckers go fight against legacy? The people who are stealing your spots in Harvard are bastards whose family members have been going there forever. They're taking your spots, not the little Black kid that had to fucking work themselves to death to even be looked at, and who's gonna go into debt like a motherfucker just for going there. But you want to take that one little Black person spot who built this motherfucking country, but you don't want to come for the white people who have legacy. Like there's people who are getting into these Ivy League schools that if they did not have a family member who was a legacy, they wouldn't even been sniffed, not even looked at. They wouldn't nothing. They wouldn't got no kind of play. So instead of y'all coming for, but that's the problem. Like everybody likes to punch down on us. All the other minorities punch down on us. They don't punch up. That's why she's like, it really pulls well mainly against with white liberals. Thank you, white liberals. Thank you. We appreciate you for having a little sense of justice. Like she's basically trying to say, oh, well, the white people are just trying to push this on people of color. Listen, again, people don't like affirmative action because they think it's for Black people. And people swear like we've been getting affirmative action for like the past 10, 20 years. She about to say that shit. So I'm gonna let her say it and then I'm gonna check this woman.
Majority Latino counties in California, they all rejected that affirmative action ballot measure. Every single one of them. If the people that the policy is supposed to benefit don't actually see the benefit, then what exactly are we doing here? It's like if straight people had been the ones pushing gay marriage while gay people were like, nah, actually were good with civil unions. Or if it was mostly white people super hyped about a diversity pick for the vice presidential slot, just as one theoretical example here, you might reconsider your position if the folks you're aiming to help seem very uninterested in the flavor of.
Sorry, again, the reason why those groups are against it is because they feel like it would help Black people. This is all anti-Black racism. Like, period. When people think of affirmative action, they don't think of white women who are the number one beneficiaries of affirmative action. But when you look at all these diversity hires, diversity can be 10 white people, 3 Asians, and an African.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's diversity. And no, we can actually cut the African out. Insert Indian. You don't even got to have a Black person around. I'm like, oh no, we got a really diverse group of people that we work with. So miss me, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yo, no.
Keep going. Go ahead, Mud. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say, like, she's playing a game of conflating Latino with Black people. Like, she's saying Latinos don't want it. It was never meant for Latinos. It was meant for us. And like, and then like
and they know it.
Yeah, and then they play this game like it's comparable to like our distaste of Kamala Harris. Like, no, we actually rejected Kamala Harris. There's a difference. Like, it's not the same thing with affirmative action. Like, you can't play this game where like you just it's shuffling us around, like playing the shell game with like this minority shit.
Anybody else?
Yeah. We have to. Well, I guess I'll tackle it real quick now, is that Sam is telling you about anti-Black racism in this massive blue state, right? It's blue, and therefore it must be all racism or anti-Blackness or anti-ADOSness must have been chased away.
Which is a lie, because these people are racist. I live here.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's really quickly, let's take a look at, if you take a look, you guys can look this up yourself. I'll try to find a link, but if you look at almost every major city, especially San Francisco and Los Angeles, if you look at how far Black Americans have dropped in those cities, it's ethnic cleansing. They call it gentrification. They call it they call it all kinds of pretty stuff.
Urban renewal.
But it's ethnic cleansing, right? You can look at the homelessness numbers, you can look at the jobs numbers. All these things are keys to show you that this is ethnic cleansing, right? If what was happening to Black people in California, a blue state, was happening in another country, we'd be rounding up the troops. You see what I mean? So let's be honest about what's going on, right? Black folks are being erased. Look at the Bay. Ask any activist, any real activist from the Bay, not somebody who's kissing Kamala Harris's ass. Ask any real activist from the Bay what's happened to Black people over the last 20 years, and they'll tell you the truth. It's ethnic cleansing. We're getting pushed out, and everybody else is getting pushed in, right? Silicon Valley, there's over 150,000 jobs being held down by non-American workers. At the same time, 50 to 60% of the homelessness is Black American in the Bay. Right? You try to make me, you can call me xenophobic, you can call me anti-immigrant, you can call me whatever the fuck you want to call me, right? My people are being destroyed, and this chick is playing fucking games, playing semantic games with this issue, right? And neither one of them mentioned the campaigns that Asian people and all these other folks are running, taking all that money they got, running campaigns against this proposition. They didn't even mention that. They're running a hustle, and they're watching us be destroyed. We're watching us being destroyed in real time, and nobody fucking gives a shit. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And that's why when you run across us on Twitter, especially #ADOS, and people be going the fuck off and cussing you out, and you be like, oh, I can't fuck with these #ADOS people because they just be so angry. To be conscious and to be Black in America is to be in a constant state of rage. James Baldwin.
Facts.
I live in rage. I had to create like I had to create 2 different things and be roped into a third where we're creating a whole nother thing to just keep me from being so angry like every day.
We had to create
that
our
I move
own
through my life.
We had to create our own.
And I'm a Black woman. I don't know how the fuck y'all do it. Like,
you have to be the Incredible Hulk. That's what you have to do. You gotta be angry all the time and just be normal.
Yeah, right. And then the day that somebody pushes you over, you like, you fucking flip the fuck out.
Hulk out.
And like when I hulked out on fucking Marianne Williamson, and listen, I'm not gonna repeat what I said, and I don't apologize for what I said. I could have said it better so people who were following her could understand my anger and frustration. But I felt how I felt because I felt like she was being dismissive. Like, if we've told you multiple times, 500 billion is an unacceptable number. And it was like, okay, when you were running, okay, but when you stopped running, for you to keep pushing that number. And I appreciate that you're no longer pushing that number anymore. So this is just to speak to a certain thing. But like, there's certain people from her clique that they won't even deal with me right now. Like with the stuff we trying to do at Reset Race, they won't even deal with me because they didn't, because that flash of true anger that they saw was too much for them. But y'all don't understand. Black people are angry because of the shit that you do to us. It's like if you keep messing with your dog at home, you keep slapping your dog around and beating up your dog. At some point your dog may maul you.
But it's just that simple. It's the intellectual dishonesty. Like
absolutely
they're not fucking stupid people. And then as soon as like we start questioning them about shit, then they start to get dumb and they start making illogical arguments, and you're like, yo, what the fuck are you even trying to do to me right now? You're trying to drive me crazy by acting like you don't understand how things actually work. Yeah, gaslight. That's what they're fucking doing.
Yep.
Line, mud. Word up.
All day. And the gag is like, how all y'all got like fucking college degrees? My motherfucking ass got a culinary degree, and I can see that y'all full of shit and don't know what the fuck you talking about, or that you playing games. So how you got all these degrees and then went to good schools because you had access to capital and all that shit, and my ass out here with a culinary degree, but I can understand and break it down. So y'all are playing games. Like y'all are literally playing motherfucking games. So are we ready to go back to this woman?
You damn right, you got it. Yeah, she's damn right, because she's just a grill master, grilling the shit. I'm gonna tell you something before we get. I just want to say something real quick. The ancestors are speaking to me right now. I think I can hear my grandma looking at this white lady. I ain't gonna say what she said to me, man. I'm trying to keep it like real shit said. I'm trying. I swear to God, I'm trying. But she looking like,
use okay words. Use okay words.
Side voice.
This anti-black devil. I sound like that motherfucker from I'm gonna get you, sucker. These devils, these black devils, this anti-black mischievous devil, her and Saagar, they are evil people, son. Straight up devils, like real shit. Like, man, listen, man. What she just did is she tried to conflate identity politics with those people getting specific black policy. You know what I mean? Specific policy. So she's conflating specific. Yeah, she a devil, Mudge. You know damn well she a damn. Your ancestors talk to you too, Mudge. That's a goddamn devil. Word up, like an anti-black fucking daughter of the Confederacy, lefty devil. That woman is a damn devil. She just straight up lying. And look at all the views they got. They got 150,000 views. This is a progressive channel. And they making a whole video.
This is the KKK populism channel.
This like, welcome to the KKK populism. We hate niggas and we like minimum wage. For real.
We like $15 an hour minimum wage. Again, white people, you don't know shit about the fight. Listen, $15 an hour, that might be good for your little son who lives in your nice house, but for us out here struggling to survive, the average rent in California is like $1,800. Who the fuck is living off of $15 an hour? That's not even worth us out here doing all that fighting for. How about 25? So this is, again, I need upper middle class people to stop setting the agenda for the country, because y'all ain't broke. Most of y'all motherfuckers don't know nobody who's broke, especially white people, because y'all, not all white people, but don't get it twisted. First of all, y'all have class. Black people don't have class. Black people know a couple people who got some money, and most of the people they know are broke. Y'all, depending on what your wealth level is, everybody around you is stable. So y'all may not feel like you have money, but you have stability. You had stability up until COVID. What you're experiencing now with like worrying about if you're going to lose your house or if you're going to even still have a job or you lost your job, this is our normal life. So the fuck?
Word up.
Yeah, and let me get this out the way. California deserves credit for passing AB whatever the reparations bill.
Yeah, AB 3121. Shout out to ADOS Los Angeles. Yes.
Yeah, shout out to them for
I want to give all of y'all love, but I'm a show Tiffany and Marcus, Mr. Champion, the most love. But it was a group effort. They worked really, really hard on it. Some more than others. I was just in the mix, like, but they did the work. And Marcus rewrote the bill. Like Marcus went through and was rewriting the bill. Like ADOS LA, I love y'all. Y'all put in y'all work. Like, thank you for what y'all did.
Yeah, I want to get California that credit, get that out the way. We can go back to work now.
Oh, that's it.
Let's ride.
Oh my God. That's it. Okay.
Of help that you were actually offering. In fact, the more you dig,
I hear it.
Well, I hear it.
Oh, you know why? Because I have my screen where I can see all of y'all faces when we talking to each other, and then I turn it back. Okay, here we go.
Get into the policy, the more it kind of seems like it's about making affluent white people feel good about themselves and about the elite institutions and environments that they inhabit, much more so than it really is a project of justice. Look, obviously, the largest and most powerful program of affirmative action is for the rich, whose parents can afford to dole out big donations to top-level schools and benefit from a privileged legacy status, not to mention who grow up with the tutors and resources and counselors to get them into those schools to begin with. But that elite experience would be so much less enjoyable if you were truly faced with how completely exclusive the elite training pipeline really is, and how much more it has to do with your parents' bank account than it does with little Johnny's great promise. So diversity has been sold to affluent whites, not really as a project with the end goal of justice, although the trappings of that are nice and make them feel really good, but as a sort of lifestyle brand. And diversity has also been sold on a strictly transactional level too, as something that is actively beneficial to you and your kid. And that matters. Here's why. In the podcast Nice White Parents, they tracked the multi-decade history of one New York City public school, and it was actually kind of remarkable. White parents in the 60s were sold diversity exactly this way as a transaction good for them and their kids, and they lobbied aggressively for the local school board to locate this new public school in a zone right between the white neighborhood and the black neighborhood so that their kids might attend a diverse school.
There you go.
Opened, however, none of the white families actually showed up. Why? Because when they were faced with the reality that the black students had been suffering through substandard, underfunded schools and were invested behind the white kids, and they realized that diversity could impose some cost on their own children, then they were out. Their relationship to diversity was purely transactional, and the second they felt they weren't getting a good deal, they were gone. Affirmative action is the type of program that poses little.
So what she's making the argument for affirmative action with this, right? Because diversity is going to have to be forced, especially when it comes to us, because they don't want us around. They've been trained over the centuries that we are a contagion of wealth, as Yvette and Tone would say, right? We are the problem, not the society that imposes a cost for having us around, but we are the problem, right? So it has to be forced. She's making the argument for us, but she doesn't see it that way. She thinks she's making a counter argument. Anybody got anything on that?
Yeah, she's definitely using diversity as a dog whistle. Yeah, like the whole thing where it's funny how she went from one segment where she was blaming the progressive white people for wanting affirmative action, being the only people that want this thing. And now in this one, she's showing how progressives can truly be, racist, and be hypocrites. And like it's funny to me how like they want to flip it on this instance though and make it about the diversity being sold to them. like it's an interesting way to how they frame these arguments to like convince people like that it's like to hide the racism and also to kind of shift the blame into weird ways where it's not really clear what exactly is the problem. And it's very interesting how they're able to get away with this bullshit.
Exactly. John, I'm sorry, Bud, you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, appreciate it. John, go ahead.
Yeah, again, man, Krystal Ball, man. It's Krystal Ager in this. Oh Lord, Jesus Christ, man. I know she a daughter. I know one of her ancestors probably owned at least 3 slaves. I already know she was a white woman that had at least 3 slaves, man. Because
Maybe we should call her Judy Garland.
Word up, Judy. For real, like, yo, what she is doing and shit. Basically, what she's saying white liberals, because basically what she is trying to say is that the white centrists, the liberals of the white liberals of today, were the woman back in the 1960s. They ain't what they, you feel me, that was fighting for diversity. Then when the black babies started coming to them schools, they was like, nah, no, that was y'all. No, the white progressives of today, that was the white woman in that's y'all. You feel me? Like, because it was white centrists back then that you feel me? Like, that is who you, that's the line y'all come from, you white fucking progressives. That's y'all. Krystal Ball, you don't want no black babies in your school. That's why. You feel me? Like, real shit, man. So all this, man, yo.
She actually used the language imposing we impose the cost on them.
Yep. Yo, that was the straight Fox. Yo, I'm like, is this Fox News? What the fuck is this shit? Like, yo, this shit. Man, I'm done. I don't got nothing else to say, brother.
And the gag is, right, because this is what these people don't understand. And this goes for Krystal and the brown face white supremacist Saagar, which again, what is your caste? What is your caste? Because if you're a Brahmin, you can really okay, better. Okay, so but but I'm irritated. I'm so irritated. Like, I'm tired of these people. You guys are playing games. The way you talk about us, we watch all of you, and the main reason why we stopped watching you guys is because we realized that you guys are anti-black racists. Krystal, Saagar, fucking Kyle, like, all of y'all be showing us that y'all are anti-black racist. So a lot of us get turned off and really don't watch you like that. Like, every now and again when I retweet the Hill clip where they actually say something like a piece that I thought was interesting, you know what people get in my timeline? Oh yeah, I used to watch them until I realized that they was anti-black. So y'all lose all kinds of people because of the fact that y'all are anti-black. So just the thing about it is, and then even with like the guy who was in our comments, and he was respectful for the first video where he's talking about talk about Kyle. He's like, he's not an anti-black racist. No, he is. The thing about it is, white people, you don't get to tell us what's racist or not, what's anti-black racism or not. You don't know, because you guys perpetuate it. Not all, but a lot of y'all perpetuate that shit, and you don't even realize what you're doing. So what you need to do is listen to us so we can teach you how to train your ears for it. Because this basically, the fucking Democrats took over the fucking Southern strategy. For the most part, they just doing it smarter. Like, white supremacy always adapts.
Yep, absolutely. Go ahead, Bud. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the perfect sign of it is how she was trying to tie the legacy thing in just with class. Like, that shit goes back to segregation. Like, that shit goes back to when we were locked out of, any opportunity, which is kind of why affirmative action is something that's in the schools, so that we can actually compete on that level. So, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's just they're using class to hurt black people. That's all they're doing.
That's it. We ready?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Threat and only benefits to affluent white liberals. It's the college admissions version of identity politics, more about getting brown faces in high places to make white people feel good than it is about actually addressing the very real problems that it seeks to ameliorate. It's almost axiomatic that any policy supported overwhelmingly by brunch liberals is unlikely to really forge any structural change or justice. But
go ahead.
This is just real quick. You see that she said brown faces. She didn't say black faces. To get brown faces in high places. Like, we're completely out that equation now.
Yeah, no black and brown, not minority, just brown.
Yeah,
and then the brown faces be your Saagars, like Bobby Jindal, and what's the other one? Nikki Haley. The Confederate flag isn't racist. It's just their heritage.
And you got Kamala Harris, and you got Ziggy Zaid, whatever that dude is that was Matt Brunet. You got all these motherfuckers, man. Shit, wow.
And we got to remember now, it's something that that folks need to take a look at. Take a look at all these organizations that you like to follow. DSA, who else? DSA, Justice Democrats. Take a look at their structure. there are no outspoken Black people in leadership. None. We're facing economic extinction in 2053. And you don't have any outspoken Black people talking about reparations for Black people, right? And what does that
And that
tell
was
you?
before COVID.
That was exactly. That was before COVID. Now, if nobody's, I just told you about ethnic cleansing. It's clear, right? And if you read my writing, there's a whole lot of other stuff we need to talk about, but we'll go into that later. But if nobody's ringing the alarm bells about what's happening to descendants of slaves here in this country and the organization you're in, guess what? You're an anti-Black racist organization. Sorry, it is what it is. It is what it is. And you, if you're a righteous person to listen to the sound of my voice, you need to start challenging these people if you want to be part of an organization that's really doing some good. If not, go ahead, Sam.
No. I like how you said it. You need to start challenging these people, right? So for those of you guys who are on this and you're like, damn, they're right. Like, this is anti-Black racism. Like, it's time, like Ernie Chambers says, it's up to you to talk to your family and your brothers and sisters and let people know in your circles that's not okay. Because as I always like to use other groups, but nobody would be allowed to talk about gays like this. Like when she was like, oh, it'd be like if straight people were the ones pushing gay marriage. First of all, that wasn't the case. And second of all, for you to could you imagine if people were voting? Well, we do. I don't like how we vote on a lot of this shit anyways. Like certain things shouldn't be voted on. Like affirmative action shouldn't be a vote. Like, period. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Go ahead, y'all. Because we ain't even got to Saagar yet. That's gonna take forever once we get there. Y'all got anything else for her? Or for this?
Yeah, I got.
Go ahead.
Yeah, nah, sis. Nah, I got something for her, man. Like the thing about it, affirmative action is one of the people don't really understand what reparations is. Like they just think it's money. The progressives, even after all the ADOS, all the work that the ADOS done did, and American Descendants of Slavery, and all the people fighting for reparations done did, and all the information that's out there, they still think it's just giving Black people money, but they don't understand that not Black people, American Descendants of Slavery. Let me clear that shit up, nigga. You from Nigeria, you ain't getting nothing, nigga. You ain't getting a damn crime. All right, no, I don't know. You ain't getting nothing. But anyway, basically what I'm saying, affirmative action is one of those strong set-asides that has to be in place on top of the reparations because of all the years and years and years we've been being locked out of opportunities, locked up, you know what I'm saying, locked in the community, just locked. They just kept locking us. So this is what the capital that's going to come to us through reparations on top of the affirmative action is what's really going to start changing the motherfucking society. But the fact that she's just so gun-ho fighting against Black people, you feel me? ADOS people, American Descendants of Slavery people, that's what she's really talking about. She ain't talking about Saagar. She ain't not talking about Saagar when she talking about affirmative action. She not talking about Cenk Uygur. You feel me? Like how he came up. She not talking about them. She talking about us. You feel me? Like, and trying to downplay, just trying to say like minorities and this and that. Like she really a devil. She really a devil. Don't worry, Sarah gonna practice some hoodoo on your ass. Watch. Krystal Ball, watch. The ancestors got something for your ass. Just like Tales from the Hood. Remember Tales from the Hood? When all them little Black slave dolls done woke up and then kicked the shit out that nigga that's biting his ass and stabbing him with little knives. Got something for your ass. All you anti-Black lefties, man. Y'all hypocrites, man. Y'all hypocrites. Justice gonna come though. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah, because this is a whole different generation, and we're gonna be teaching our kids to be fighters. So even if you get away with not giving us nothing this generation, you're gonna have to. There's gonna be a reckoning. There's gonna be a reckoning.
Whole new brand of Negro.
Yep. And we learning from our ancestors because our ancestors was telling us back then, and a lot of our people weren't listening to them. You know, the Fannie Lou Hamas and the so now we got to get out here and do what needs to be done to get this justice. Like I said, y'all should be glad that we aren't like y'all. Like we just want, like that girl said when she was like, y'all should be glad that we don't want revenge. We just want equality. I want equity and a little bit more because of my family's contribution to this country. But that's about right. Ooh. And speaking of that, you know, Instacart just got here with my plantation rum, y'all. I mean, my whole new bottle. I'm about to open this up and get ready for Saagar. Okay, y'all ready? Or is there anything else that y'all got to say?
Go ahead, run it.
Let's look at the data anyway. So, affirmative action does, in fact, marginally improve Black and Latino admissions into elite universities. According to Matt Iglesias, after affirmative action was banned in California in the 90s, the number of Black students at UC Berkeley fell from 6 or 7% to just 3%, and Latinos make up only about 15% of Berkeley's freshman class, even though they are actually a majority of public school graduates in that state. So, by that metric, affirmative action is successful. But just getting more minorities into high-level colleges, that's not actually supposed to be the goal. The goal is supposed to be reducing the racial wealth and income gap. And on that metric, affirmative action has been a complete failure. In fact, after generations of racial preferences in college admissions processes.
You got to stop that.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all. I was over here trying to hit the button like, oh my God. Oh my God. No, as soon when I first heard this video, I was like, oh my God, go ahead, MG. Get her.
Get
him, big bro. Get him, big bro.
So she admits that the program is successful. Not perfect, but successful, right? It's supposed to be part of a larger scheme, right? We know that education doesn't close the wealth gap. We know that, right? But we're talking about the opportunity to do better for your family in this generation or the current generation, whatever generation somebody's going through. So the amount of, and probably most likely we're talking about ADOS students that were going to these schools, cut in half.
So we don't know that those were ADOS students. They could have just been plain old Black. So we don't even know how many of them were ADOS. So she talked about 3%, 2% of them could have been first generation African immigrants, which, you know, again, it's not a problem with y'all, but if the only people who are getting any success or opportunity aren't the people who descend from slaves, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like when Karen Bass
designed for. Yeah,
and and sorry, I hate to go on a tangent, but you know, every time I can throw some, every time I can piss on Karen Bass, I have to. So when we had that meeting with Karen Bass looked us dead in our face and said, we need to import more Africans from Africa because Black birth rates are low. First of all, most African immigrants do not marry Black Americans. Nope. There's a few, but the majority don't. They move into their own communities. They live with their own people. They tell their kids, don't bring home no akatas. And for you white people who don't know what akata means wild dog. They're talking about Black Americans who descend from slaves.
It mean nigger. It mean nigger. That's what it means.
It means wild dog.
My bad.
Yeah, with the hard ER, absolutely.
It's another version of it. Like I said in the last episode, every other race, every other group has a word for nigger except for us. Like we don't have names for Nigerians. We don't have names for anything. And even cracker, that shit comes from white people. That's not our original shit. That shit goes back to when they were indentured slavers. It's indentured servants, and like their necks would be burnt red, and then they would start to crack. That's where that shit come from. So even that shit ain't our shit. We have never come up with some shit to call y'all, but y'all got a name for us. So you want me to align with someone who looks at me as a wild animal? We got to bring in more of those people because our birth rates are low. How about you fight to get my people out of prison? You know why some of the birth rates are low? Because a lot of our men are in prison. So if you'd stop locking them up for nonviolent offenses, maybe there'd be more men to go around. So our birth rates wouldn't be low. But instead of you handling the problem, your first thing is just to import more people. That's a problem. That is a problem.
But like we talked about, we're facing genocide. Period.
We're facing genocide from all sides.
All the solutions these people are offering make it worse.
And if you guys don't know who Karen Bass is the head of the Congressional Black Caucus. So the people who are supposed to be fighting for ADOS are not fighting for ADOS. And she also told me reparations is not her issue, and it wouldn't be until we made it her issue. So I understand that she wasn't over HR 40, but how are you over the CBC and reparations isn't your issue? I have a serious problem with that woman.
We'll get to her too.
I don't even care about her. I'm so over these people. Go ahead.
I can say, but the thing about it, but Sam, again, just right on point, especially with Karen Bass, she bugging. I would have left the room. I would have like, man,
let me
you
tell
out
you,
of control, lady.
I hit the snooze button. Like I literally, because we Black, so we have a snooze button. You know, when somebody says something stupid to you, you just because what was I gonna do? Jump over the table? Like,
yeah, no.
Like,
I would have.
Like that wouldn't have been like. So I just had to sit there and eat shit. I got to give it to Friday though. Friday did give a little pushback, and then Karen Bash tried to hit us with, "I feel like you guys are being xenophobic, bitch. You just told." No. Oh, excuse me, y'all. I didn't mean to call her that.
Right.
Woman,
you gonna beep it?
No. And I'm not even gonna get out. I corrected myself, right? That's enough.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. Fuck it. We going there. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm not taking that shit out. No. But for this woman to say that when we are like in a dire situation, like from every measure, Black Americans are failing. Americans who descend from slavery are failing. So for you to be like, oh, that is some bullshit. That basically you're saying we need to bring in more people to mask our failure. And this is what I mean by this. And a lot of people get upset when we talk about Africans and stuff, but I don't care what y'all think, because my best friend is a fucking first generation Ghanaian American. And I have real conversations with her. She believes that we should get reparations, and she doesn't believe that she should get reparations. And for those of y'all Africans who are mad that ADOS will get reparations and you won't get nothing, that's your fault, because you don't have an ADOS friend. Do you think I'm gonna get reparations and my friend not get no money? If not money, you think I'm not gonna start a business? Or shit, my friend got 2 fucking degrees. You think I'm not gonna ask her if she want to start a business? Okay. So even though she not gonna get a direct payment, she gonna get a payment. And if you had more ADOS friends, you would be in a different kind of situation, because we love to spit out the wall. Wait till all of these ADOS people have reparations. We're going to be building co-ops and all kinds of businesses. And we're not going to be sitting there like, you're not ADOS. You can't be a part of this, because that's not how we roll. That's never how we've been. We love everybody. Like I said, the other one, it pains us. Fault. Yeah, it pains us right now to have to do this to y'all and pull y'all coats, but y'all aren't getting any better. And Baldwin's not here anymore to lecture you white people. So I got to keep bringing him back to you through his words and through his freaking things, because I'm not Baldwin. I strive to be, but that man was a genius, and that man went and sat in the rooms of white supremacy all the time and said what he had to say elegantly and never flinched.
Never flinched.
MG, you got something, bro?
Please go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, the thing is like, we already understand that, yes, affirmative action is not going to solve the racial wealth gap, but it was also put in place because we were locked out of fucking higher education. They keep trying to hide that fact of it, and it's like, no, that was the reality. We were locked out for forever, damn near. And recently, we've been allowed to get to universities, and it's like, part of why affirmative action needs to be in place is exactly the stats that you showed. If we don't have affirmative action, a lot of Black people will be locked out. And that's even on the fact that it's not specific to us. Even as vague as it is now, we're locked out, so it's like you guys, you gotta be real about what the fuck is going on here.
You preaching.
Yeah, they got to talk about wealth here right now, but for those of you who don't know the wealth numbers, right?
We about to show them to you.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
No, you can say what you're gonna say though. Go ahead and prep them. Go ahead and prep them.
The wealth numbers for Black folks. I mean, it's horrific. It's 10 times. White wealth is 10 times as much as Black wealth. We've been here the same amount of time, and a lot of y'all haven't been here as long as we have. All right, it's because, as Mud was saying, we've been locked out. We've been locked out. And for you to believe that that gap exists and nothing can be done about it, or nothing should be done about it, guess what? You're assuming that we can't catch up. You're assuming that we can't do it. You're assuming that we are incapable of catching up, or you don't care. Either one, we need help to close this gap. It can't be closed without government intervention, just like government intervened for white folks. The Homestead Act, New Deal, All this stuff, several Homestead Acts, not just one, several Homestead Acts that we were locked out of. Slavery itself, Jim Crow itself, that was affirmative action for white people. All right.
Bruh.
It is what it
and
is.
If y'all haven't read When Affirmative Action Was White, you bullshitting. Ira Katz Nelson, When Affirmative Action Was White, y'all.
Dig it up. Dig it up.
The greatest insult that is happening. The greatest insult that is happening to us is like, the greatest insult that is happening to us is these Democrat politicians coming in our faces talking about redlining and then not having their next sentence be something about reparations. Like, how the fuck do you understand the concept of redlining and then you're not going to talk to me about a policy like reparations to actually make up for that shit?
That's it, because they're being they're being they're being on purpose. They're just being dishonest. At the end of the day, y'all might as well just say, like, I don't care about Black people, and it is what it is. Like, I wish y'all would just be honest, but you don't want to be honest because if you told your audience, like, look, we really just don't care about Black people. Yeah, you might keep some of your audience, but I have a feeling the majority of your audience, that would rub their spirit the wrong way. Because this thing about white people, y'all don't want to be racist. Y'all just kind of are. And the reason why you are is because this country trains everybody to be racist. Like, all people have to,
just like
everybody has
in this video.
Yeah, everybody has
to be racist.
And everybody has to learn how to get rid of anti-Black racism, right? Like, shit, I grew up in the suburbs with white people. Like, I had to learn how to not, move around or squirm when a random Black man walked up on me. You understand what I'm saying? Or something like that, because you were trained to be anti-Black. So if me as a Black person in America had to unlearn anti-Black racism, what makes you above me? You white. You don't even live around Black people. And I grew up with y'all and I got a problem. Well, I don't have a problem anymore, but I grew up with y'all and I had to unlearn shit. So let's quit pretending like we all don't have prejudices, biases, and like I said, some of y'all are racist, but some of y'all don't want to be. And if you don't want to be racist, then you have to start doing the work, because we all do the work. Again, I keep saying this, I'm gonna keep saying this all over. I actively seek to have intentional relationships with white women because my racism experiences, for the most part, have come at the hands of white women. So that gave me a prejudice. So I actively work to build intentional relationships with white women so I don't hate all white women. So we all have to do things to make sure that we don't become, well, for me, I just don't want to become the thing that I hate. Like, I don't want to be like a racist white person. So I go out of my way to try to find people so I can be like, yes, these are good people. Not saying that there aren't any good white people, but I say all the time, my godmother is white. I love her, but she was a little racist. Not to me, not to me personally, but some of the things she said, but she did, like, she didn't even, I don't think, like I say it all the time, I think if she heard this podcast, she would be hurt by that. And I hate to say that because she's a good person and you don't understand, like, my godmother loves me to death. Like, fuck with me if you want to on her property, but she'll shoot that ass. So even a person who loves me and I would be in her presence wouldn't understand some of the stuff that she said was anti-Black. You know what I mean? Even though it wasn't directed specifically at me, but it would be like at my people. Like I said, my godmother was a hardcore Rush Limbaugh fan in the 90s. Like, Rush was raw.
That's prime Rush.
I'm telling you. So this is the thing. Again, I guess I'm just saying, like, I know people were so angry about Robin DiAngelo's book and they were like, oh, she's just saying that everybody's racist. Maybe not all of y'all, but 90% of y'all are racist. Like, you know what I mean? And y'all got to understand, racism is a spectrum, like autism. Like, racist doesn't mean like you gonna go and burn some crosses on people's lawns or just go down the street shooting niggas or do what happened to was it Ahmaud Arbery where they was chasing him down. That is the extreme side of racism. The small side of racism is when you don't really want too many Blacks to move in your neighborhood because you don't want your neighborhood to be unsafe. Or you understand, like,
think it's going to be unsafe. Yeah.
Or you don't want a bunch of Black and brown kids to come in your school because they're going to bring down the education value. So instead of saying, okay, if we're going to bring in these Black and browns, how do we get more money into these schools and what programs can we give them, or let's just say blacks, because that shit gets on my nerves. I'm sorry, but let's just say we want to get more black people into our schools and into these so remember, I live in LA, right? So here they have specific programs for Latinos, like people who are, who English is their second language. There's a lot of different programs, right? So if you can do that for Latinos, why can't you do that for black people? Like, you can literally set up programs to help black kids get where your kids need to be. And the thing about it is, in these affluent neighborhoods, these white people, on top of their property taxes, they put all kinds of money into these schools. These PTAs be fundraising millions of dollars. Like, it's a whole nother level. So if y'all would go and do some of that work for black people in, these black schools, or these minority schools, as you like to call them, but not come in and try to take over. Bring your money and close your mouth. That's what we need y'all to do sometimes. And I'm sorry that might be a little hurtful, but most of y'all, I need you to bring your money and close your mouth, because y'all got the money, but a lot of times y'all don't know what's going on. So you can't come in and try to tell people what's going on. You got to come in, bring the money, and let the browns and the blacks, but the blacks first, because you got to let us tell you what we need, and we'll tell you how we gonna spend that money to improve our children. But, sorry, that was long. Keep going, guys. I'm sorry.
They don't need to bring the money. They don't need to bring the money. They can just send it. They don't need to bring it. They don't need to come in.
Word up, send that shit. We got Cash App, MoneyGram, all types of shit.
Mud did a kind of revision of Barack Obama.
Now than it was back in 1968. So the policy is not particularly effective. It's politically toxic and is rejected by voters everywhere and every time that it's tried. And it fuels racial resentment among the multiracial working class. But you shouldn't just...
Have you noticed every time you want to do something for black people, it's causing a dissension in the working class? So where is this book? Do I even have it out here? I think that shit's in my thing, but y'all need to read this. It's like Black labor history. It goes from slavery all the way to the 1980s. Listen, white people, we have tried to do working coalitions with y'all multiple times. You know what happens? You either A, ain't for it, or B, either you A, aren't for it, or B, you be like, oh, okay. And then y'all get the bag and run off with that shit and leave us in the dust. So we're not doing it your way anymore. You guys have shown that you guys are liars and that you can't be trusted. So we got to take the lead, because if not, like with the worker shit, John, can you say what you said the other day about like at the height of, what was it? I forgot what movement you said, at the height of, and King was marching. What did you call it? I'm sorry.
The height of the Civil Rights Movement. Yeah, the Great Society.
Say what you said. Say it again though. Say it again for people who didn't catch it, because that wasn't on our recording, and that shit was so profound.
Oh yes, yeah. Sis, I'm a dumb. I ain't the most articulate one, but I got common sense.
That was articulate like a motherfucker. No, say it for them though, because I know what you said. Please say it for them.
For sure. So basically, what I'm saying is that the Civil Rights Movement, the Great Society is built on the back of the Civil Rights Movement. There is no Great Society. There's no expansion of Social Security benefits to people with disabilities. There's no raising the minimum wage 88 times and all whatever LBJ. He raised it like 10 times or some shit like that. There's no fucking Medicaid. There's no expansion of Medicare. There's no fucking Head Start program. All these things came on the back of the Civil Rights Movement, and at the same time, King was still marching for some extra, some extra tangible, some extra reparation shit on top of that. Even then, when the wealth gap is way closer than it is now, but the poverty still was extreme though. When you feel like the 1960s ghettos, that shit made Martin Luther King go to Chicago during the middle of the Great Society. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So these lefties talking about some liberal this, liberal that. Y'all the liberals of yesteryear. Y'all not progressive, man.
No better.
Y'all not progressive at all, man. For real. And the ones that Malcolm X was like, yo, the white people that call themselves liberals, but the white people that was saying, them niggas, they didn't. The white allies Malcolm X was talking about was the ones that was like, you know what, give the whatever nation of Islam they want so they could buy their land and do whatever the fuck they want to do. Just stay out their way. That's what Malcolm X was talking about, or just give them what they asking for. That's what he wasn't talking about. You feel me? A Hillary Clinton liberal. He was talking about you and the Hillary Clinton liberals and the conservatives. Talking about all of y'all. The Great Society was built on the back of the Civil Rights Movement, man. For real. So y'all not gonna have no other wealth redistribution until y'all finish the Civil Rights Movement and give us our shit. Give us what's owed to us. Give us what was stolen from us. So
Facts.
I got to say.
Mud, you have something else?
Nah, I'm good. Go ahead.
All right.
Every time that it's tried, and it fuels racial resentment among the multiracial working class. But you shouldn't just throw up your hands and declare that these massive inequalities between races and between classes have to stand. In fact, any universal programs which disproportionately benefit the poor and the working class are in fact racial equity programs. As Iglesias points out, in Florida, where a
Sorry, I'm gonna cut that. We're not even going super deep in that. We'll wait for the brown-faced white supremacist to go deeper, I would think, because he gonna say some bullshit that we gonna eat his ass up for. But the universal programs that y'all offer are bullshit. For giving student loan debt, only 20% of Black people, native-born Black people, have college degrees. And when I say native-born, that doesn't mean ADOS. It just means native-born. So they could be a first-generation Black immigrant who comes from parents who have 2 degrees. Like, yeah. So that's just native-born Black, not ADOS. We don't even have ADOS numbers. So only 20% of us have college degrees. So you paying off student debt is helping our upper classes and wealth. Actually, to be honest, you're really helping like the top percentile, right? So that ain't shit.
Allegra Cross Productions presents Fixing Class Won't Fix Race, Volume 1, Student Loan Forgiveness. In the United States, there are 250.52 million white people. Of those, 46.9% have attained an associate's degree or higher. That is 117.49 million white people. There are 44 million Black people in the United States. 39.6 million of them are ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, Racial Terrorism, Land Theft, Jim Crow, Redlining, the War on Drugs, and Mass Incarceration. 19% of U.S.-born Blacks have attained an associate's degree or higher. That is only 7.52 million U.S.-born Blacks. Student loan forgiveness as a policy is a gift to stabilize the white working class and boost upper middle class Asian and white wealth. Let me explain. Wealth is held in families, not individuals. In Los Angeles, the median wealth of a white family is $355,000. In Los Angeles, the median U.S.-born Black has $4,000 median wealth. In Miami, the median wealth for a white family is $107,000. In Miami, for a U.S.-born Black, the median wealth is $3,700. In the District of Columbia, the median wealth for a white family is $248,000. Median wealth for a U.S. Black in the District of Columbia is $3,500. In Boston, the median white wealth is $251,000. The median wealth for a U.S.-born Boston family Black is $8. So you're thinking, yeah, hey, we are poor too. This video is not to argue that student loans should not be forgiven for all families. It is to show that this policy does not close the racial wealth gap. It should not be promoted as policy that significantly helps the ADOS Black community. Cancel student debt for 117.49 million white families. Just do it after you pay reparations to 39.6 million American descendants of slavery. Pure reparations now. These are our terms of solidarity. We are stronger when we fight together.
What's the next one? Universal healthcare. Yes, universal healthcare would be nice, but guess what? I have free healthcare right now. You know why? Because I'm fucking poor. Okay?
Yep.
So, and like John has said plenty of times, just because it's free don't mean that it's good. We get free K through 12 education, right? And they graduate motherfuckers who can't read. So you think that won't be different in the medical system if we don't overhaul the whole system? So that one is is what it is. Like, to be honest, Black people ain't thinking about that shit because we could die any day. What the fuck we worrying about some insurance for? Like, especially poor. No, for real. I mean, like, poor Black people though. Like, we can talk about people who are like, you know, when you got some money, then you take care of the shit you're supposed to be. But as a poor person, like, I went from 26 until 32, I went without insurance. And the only reason I finally ended up getting insurance is because I got really sick and they had to give me insurance so they could get paid. You feel me? Yep. So, like, y'all out here playing games. What's the other one that they like to do? So free and then free college, right? So first of all, Blacks with we'll do that one last. So okay, so yeah. So the next one is free college, right? Again, why do you think that they're going to give us good colleges to go to? We're going to they're going to build some shitty ass JCs and make them free. And then when you get your shitty ass degree, you still ain't going to get hired. What was it? It was Chuck Modi, at Chuck Modi. I think that's what his name is. If not, look up Chuck Modi. But he did a tweet where he was like, if you give everybody free college, the next thing you know is instead of a bachelor's, they'll make people have a master's. This came from a white man. He on the money. He knows exactly what we're saying. And I saw this white woman be like, but education can help everybody. Education can help everybody. I am a very educated person and I did not learn this shit in school, right? But when you like, but the whole point, the reason why people go to school to get a degree is not for self-improvement. It's so they can get that motherfucking check and take care of their family. Yep. Nobody gives a fuck about self-improvement. Like, they don't, especially not Black people. Like, and I don't mean, so don't kill me and don't, shorten my shit. But what I mean is, we don't go to college for self-improvement or to find ourselves. We go to college so we can figure out how we gonna make some money. Like, I just left school and people are like, well, why did you leave school? Well, I left school because it's fucking COVID. I changed my major. The world, I don't even know what the fuck is going on with the world. Like, realistically, like, I don't even know if what I was going to school for will even be a thing by the time I graduate. Like, shit, I'm trying to follow in there. Like, Darity inspired me to change my major. I was a history major. I changed my major to mathematical economics and economic theory. Okay, so in 10 years,
fuck around with numbers.
No, bruh, and on top of that, for Black people, you got to have a PhD for anybody to take you seriously. So I'm looking at like 8-9 years of school. So I'm looking around, I'm just like, with the world kind of coming all fucked up, like, I need to see what's going to happen before I do shit else. Because again, I own my house. It doesn't make sense for me to go into debt to go to school. I can sell my house and move to a third world country and never work again. So I do think about this shit. And then the fight for 15, I already addressed that. Fuck you. I stopped working for $15 an hour like 3 or 4 years ago. I live in LA. $15 an hour, and I own my house. $15 an hour is high school wage. For somebody who lives at home, that is a good wage. If you live by yourself, you can't live by yourself off $15 an hour unless you on OnlyFans, showing tits or slinging dick. Like,
hey, yo, chill the fuck out.
Am I lying? Am I lying?
No,
am I lying?
Yeah.
No, for real.
You say you got to sell ass on the side? You got to sell. You got to sell something else on the side.
OnlyFans is cam. No one is touching you. And the people who are fucking on OnlyFans, that's because they would have did that shit for free. They just getting.
Hey, yo, chill the fuck out.
I get to say the shit that y'all can't say because they would give y'all the business. But basically what I'm saying is $15 an hour is some bullshit. How about we start talking about $25 an hour? That should be the base, because sorry, forgive me, y'all, because I have so much fucking information in my brain. So if wages would have gone up with inflation, we would be somewhere around $25 an hour anyways. So basically, y'all out here lowballing yourselves. Like, y'all out here sucking dick for $10. Okay, anybody else? Well, let Krystal keep going.
I give up, bud. You got anything?
I'm going on mute.
How do you follow that?
15 Floridians will benefit as they currently earn less than that rate. He also points out that researchers say 20% of the 1960s decline in the black-white wage gap came from the 1966 lifting of the minimum wage. Eliminating college debt would actually disproportionately benefit minorities. Black students are more likely to be.
Yeah, Darity talks about this one. And Sam, you got those numbers?
Oh yeah, I got those. Or no, we don't. Oh, I do. No, I'll put it in because remember I did a whole video on how many white people have. Yeah, I got a whole video. I did a whole 4 or 5 minute video.
Yes, you did.
I'm a drop that in here for y'all. Sorry, y'all gonna have to sit there and listen to that shit because at the end of the day, like I just said, only 20% of Black people have college degrees, and so the person who said that I love Latinos. Reset ratio. Go ahead and say I love the poor whites too. Reset ratio because 53% of white people don't have college degrees. So over half of your people, this shit ain't helping. So Krystal is disingenuous or she just doesn't have any regular Negroes around her. So, I guess you famous now. So I doubt you. I doubt you just gonna go out and find you a poor Black person to be friends with, but you need one. You definitely need one.
I need a smart one too.
Oh, let me tell you, it's taking all the control in my body not to use ad hominem attacks. I'm doing good today.
Go girl.
Man, let me tell you, it's okay. I'm gonna drop them in the chat.
Come on, we got to ride. I'm sleepy. Come on.
No, you good. You good.
Be burdened with college.
We got like a whole nother hour.
And take on larger loads on average than their white counterparts. Look, I can certainly imagine racially targeted policies which may be unpopular, but are just and are worth fighting for and worth dealing with the white racial resentment and backlash over. On the merits, however, affirmative action just doesn't make the cut. And those numbers that Iglesias pulled about the way how much minimum wage increases due to alleviate racial inequity, so much more than affirmative action has done over 50 years of being instituted in public universities. It says it all.
Oh, absolutely.
Pause. First of all, this woman said that affirmative action over years. MG, when did they cut affirmative action? Because affirmative action has not been around since the 80s. Start from the beginning, because when they pushed white women into affirmative action, that was the beginning of the end. But can you please give them a break, a little more of a breakdown? Because she just fucking lied. She made it sound like we've had affirmative action this whole fucking time. White people understand this. They ain't giving Black people shit. They ain't giving us a motherfucking thing. And then you're like, oh, but y'all get welfare and y'all, more white women and white people are on welfare than Black people by percentages, raw numbers, compared to population, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So it is what it is. And don't get it twisted. Like, I don't want, the little white ladies in the South, their kids getting thrown off of welfare. But why is it okay for her and it's not okay for my sisters? Like, every now and again, people need help. And the whole reason why we don't have a robust, safety net in this country is because of anti-Black racism. For you white people right now who are fighting because you can't move into good neighborhoods, or when you do, you got to fucking rent and overpay. The reason why that is because they don't want Negroes living in those areas. So since you as a white person have not reached the level that you should for being white, and don't be mad at me. This is what it is. Like, I'm not talking for myself. I'm telling you what they think about you, because poor whites, they don't like y'all neither. Dave Chappelle told y'all that shit in the video. So basically, like, sorry, y'all. Okay, so basically, like I said, I lost my train of. Can y'all tell me where I was going, or can y'all tell me what I just
start off with affirmative action?
No. Oh yeah. So when you start getting into poor whites, like this shit. At the end of the day, this shit is not hitting poor people. Like, it's damn sure ain't hitting ADOS, but it's not hitting poor people. Like, it's not. So everything she's saying is
don't have an address.
Yeah, everything. And like you said, MG, so everybody on this, I need y'all to do what MG said. When you hear a policy, think this. Will this help a person who currently does not have an address? So if this is not going to lift a person who is sleeping on the street with nothing, or who is living in their car and working, but does not have a home, then that is not the policy. That is not the policy.
Amen.
I'm so mad.
The best work on this. And I was just actually looking yesterday at this chart that I pulled up. The bottom 75% of whites in America have identical wealth as the full black population.
Thank you, Saagar, you brown-faced anti-black racist. You are the disingenuous lying motherfucker. And I am enjoying. I'm gonna put the so I guess we should go here, right? Y'all can see my screen, right? Let me go ahead and pull up these charts. Cause let me tell you, Saagar, I did wealth charts just for you because what you just said was some lying ass bullshit. So for you to make a motherfucker who don't have you out here making me make charts first thing in the morning, I had to literally go and find where I could make a bar chart just for you.
Fired up too. She called like 3 times.
Fired up. Listen. Did we lose anyone? Let me make sure we didn't lose anybody. Did we lose Mud before I go in? Yeah, we lost Mud. So I guess let's take a second. I'll wait for Mud to come back in.
Like the idea that minimum wage being increased was like the greatest benefit to inequality between races. Like
bullshit.
For that to be a reality, that means black people had to be at the bottom, like getting the very minimum, of fucking wages from employment for it to show a significant improvement. So like, even if that's the fucking argument, what you're telling us is that we're on the bottom of this fucking society. So maybe
you okay with it?
Yeah, you're okay with it. And maybe minimum wage isn't a fucking enough if you've done that already and we're still at the fucking bottom.
Anything else, Mud?
Nah, that's it.
No, like again, y'all want us to keep doing the same shit over and over again. Just because y'all motherfuckers don't know history, don't mean, again, this is the thing I said. I keep saying this. As a American, sorry, I'm gonna let this train go by. As an American descendant of slavery, as a Black American woman, I have to know everything about you. I have to know your history. I have to know what you are about. I have to know everything because, again, my life depends on knowing what's going on, where I am and where I am in spaces. Y'all have no sense of history. You know nothing. So quit telling us to do shit that we've already done 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Think about it. Imagine. So this is the thing that I like to use, and this is my analogy for y'all white people, right? So imagine you got this homeboy Chad, right? Every time good old Chad, and every time you invite Chad over, you notice the next day that like $200-300 is missing from your wallet. At what point do you start locking your wallet up or stop inviting Chad over? Like, let's just keep it a buck. So you want us to keep doing the same? You want us to keep inviting the motherfucker over who's stealing from us and pretend like it's not happening? We're not doing that. So either you're going to start respecting us as equals, because we are not your children. Mm-hmm. We are not your children. And I'm not going to go as far, because for those of y'all who watch Battlestar Galactica, y'all the Cylons. Mm-hmm. So we are not your children. Mm-hmm. We are not your children. You cannot treat us as children. At best, at the least, you need to treat us like your equals. Because at the end of the day, if you would actually have conversations with us, the fight that we are doing right now, the reason why y'all can't get the things that you want, the reason why you can't get your bump in minimum wage, the reason why is because we are not signing on with you, because we know y'all are full of shit. And on top of that, y'all are fighting for the wrong shit. You guys need to be fighting for the fucking table. You're literally fighting for a piece of cake from the table, but they're making you fight hard as fucking hell. You might as well fight for the whole fucking table if you had to work this hard. How long has the fight for 15 been going on? Like 10 years? So you fought 10 years for $15. Why don't you start fighting for like 25, 30? If you're going to fight for 10 years, you might as well fight for some shit that matters.
I'm saying we're trying to take the house. Fuck the table.
I want the table. I want the house. I want the fucking property. I want everything. And I'll share it with you motherfuckers, but y'all don't get to hold on to that shit no more.
Exactly.
God damn, I sound like I'm like Samuel L. Jackson. Are you what the
motherfucker? Hey, you got to listen. It's a motherfuckers. Fuck them.
Listen, I ain't said motherfucker this much in my life.
Let me dip in here real quick. Now, something Mud said. Mud brought up a good point about if
is that a bat?
Huh?
Is that a bat?
No, it's a stick fighting training stick.
Okay, was it Norman? Okay, Norman.
No. Where was I?
Sorry. Forgive me.
Oh yeah, right. Piggybacking off what Mud was saying, Mud was Mud said that if minimum wage was such a bit was so awesome, where is the fruits of that? Right? They say, according to Matt Brunick's, or who are they talking about? Matt Iglesias, one of them Matts, one of them phony Matts. If you look at the chart, the wealth chart,
let me pull that up.
Yeah,
go ahead, keep going.
If the wealth chart, if you look at the wealth chart, the gap has been growing, nearly uninterrupted. The gap has been growing. So where is this big boom from the increase in minimum wage? Where it doesn't exist. It doesn't fucking exist, and that's a problem. That means they're lying. I mean, and it's right there in the numbers. It's right there in the fucking numbers. The gap is still increasing. Or you say, well, the gap was increased slower. The gap is still fucking increasing. So you're doing something wrong, or you're not doing anything at all. All right, let's run it. I'm sorry.
And minimum wage was only intended for motherfuckers to survive. Like that's all it's supposed to be for. Like it's not.
Yeah, they shouldn't even call it minimum wage. They should call it a surviving wage.
Yeah, that's the idea behind it. And like you're not even talking about like essentially improving people's lives to be on that point. That's essentially what you're talking about. That's why these conversations aren't really like they're not really appealing to anybody for real.
Exactly, because everybody knows it's bullshit.
Absolutely.
Like everybody knows it's bullshit. And when this is all over, I'm gonna tell y'all what I really think about affirmative action. Because in my philosophy class, we had to do a presentation, and like affirmative action was one of them, and we had to go pro or con. I'll tell you which way I went when I actually when we get down through this later. Oh no, I had a whole argument. I convinced my whole class. That's probably why. Okay. Where we at? We about to get back to Saagar. Oh no, the chart though, right? So he was talking about that chart, right? He said he was talking about. I'm about to pull this one up. Boop, come on.
No, he was talking about charts that he didn't show anybody. He was talking about.
No, but he's talking about this chart. I know which one he's talking about because this is the Matt Brunick Tone Talks chart.
Okay.
So let's get into that. This is the chart. So this is the chart that he was talking about. That 7 much wealth is in each percentile.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and slide over here. I know I got this shit up from earlier. Where's my shit from Darity? Like, where did I put it? I'm like, where did I put it? It is in, you know me, I don't fuck around. Like, don't play with me about these numbers. Like, don't make a bitch who like failed fucking trig 2 semesters ago, like really fucking play you out here. Well, actually, I didn't fail. I got a W because I withdrew because I knew I was going to pass this shit. But where's the, here we go. Running the numbers from Darity. I'm going to skip to, so the most recent data, I got it. So the most recent data is from 2016 Survey of Consumer Finances. This is the chart that Saagar was looking at, but he was being disingenuous, which indicated that the median Black household has $17,600 in net worth, while the median white household has
a bit, Sam. We can't see the whole chart.
I'm not going to show this chart. I'm not going to show the chart in the. I'm not going to show the chart in the video. I'm going to show the chart that Saagar was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just using this so I can read. Yeah, so see, damn it, MG. Okay.
Sorry.
171,000 in net worth. The ratio of Black to white wealth using the standard has the typical household holding 10 cents for every dollar held by the typical white household. So poor whites, we still got 10 cents to your dollar. Aren't you glad? Aren't you proud that, you know, you're doing better than Negroes? Yeah, look at all that privilege. You know, your shit sucks, but you're still better than us. In 2016, the absolute dollar difference between Black and white household wealth at the median was 153,000. While the median racial gap in wealth is far from trivial, the mean, which the charts that I made that I'm about to show are from the mean. They are not from the median.
Yeah, the mean is like the average, and the median is like if you have a set of numbers, just random numbers, whatever number is in the middle, that's going to be your median.
Perfect. So I use the mean, which is what we actually want to close, because if you use the median, we get fucked out of a bunch of money. But Darity put it much better in his paper, so I'm going to use his beautiful professional language. Okay. While the median racial gap in wealth is far more trivial, the mean difference is more pronounced, as shown in figure 1A and 1B. I'm going to pull up figure 1B. but I'm actually going to show you it in a chart format because Saagar fucking lied. He said that when you look at it, the 70% of the poor people, it's the same. That was some bullshit. That was some anti-Black racism shit. That was some McCarthyism propaganda shit. He should actually apologize for that because as a journalist, aren't they supposed to have integrity? Like, isn't there some shit like isn't the shit that they say supposed to be true? I'm asking you, MG, why are you over there falling asleep? You know, I don't know shit about shit. That's not my field.
Yeah, I mean, well, there really is no standard anymore in the United States when it
okay, so you can just lie.
Yeah, you can just lie.
Okay, so Saagar is a propagandist.
Yep, there you go.
Saagar is a brown-faced white supremacist and a propagandist. At me 17 trillion. Holla. Okay, thank you, Mud, is the ratio of the total amount of wealth possessed by a social group divided by the number of households in the group. The 2016 SCF computes a Black household is estimated mean net worth, which is, again, the average is 138,000, and a white household is estimated net worth of 933,000. So while the mean Black-white ratio is higher than the median ratio, Black households have 14 cents to the dollar held by white households. The absolute dollar difference is 795,000. Pay me my money. I want my reparations. I want my 800 grand. Go ahead and holler. I know it's 800 grand for the family, so there's 2 of us, so I guess it's like 4. But give me my run me my money. Thank you, Mud. Is the ratio of the total amount of wealth possessed by a social group divided by the number of households in the group. The 2016 SCF computes a Black household is estimated mean net worth, which is, again, the average is 138,000, and a white household is estimated net worth of 933,000. So while the mean Black-white ratio is higher than the median ratio, Black households have 14 cents to the dollar held by white households. The absolute dollar difference is 795,000. Pay me my money. I want my reparations. I want my 800 grand. Go ahead and holler. I know it's 800 grand for the family, so there's 2 of us, so I guess it's like 4. But give me my run me my money. Games, right? So, oh my goodness, where did I put this? Okay, so this is the chart that Saagar's playing games on, right? Can y'all see it? Okay. Yeah, so this is the chart that Saagar's playing games at, right? So he's saying, oh, yeah. So if you look at this chart, which he can play you, right? So if you look at this chart, if you look at this, right, it looks like, oh yeah, Blacks and whites are doing the same. The difference is for each spot in here, they're splitting $1 trillion. Each decile, they're splitting $1 trillion at a minimum of $1 trillion. So what, this is 0.30 or this is 0.3. So divide that, so multiply that by $1 trillion. So they got less than $1 trillion, but they damn near at $1 trillion, right?
$1 per decile. Okay.
So as Tone pointed out, you know, I'm gonna give the man credit. I wanted to use your video, but I don't want a copyright strike. So I'm gonna give you a bastardized version of what Tone Talk said, and then I need y'all to go back to Tone Talk's page when he did the one on closing the racial wealth gap between when Bernie Sanders had all this stuff. It's during the elections. Y'all got to go back and find that shit because he was on point. Like I said, I would love to use the video, but I don't want to disrespect nobody, so I'm gonna have to do a bastardized version. So forgive me, y'all. So Tone points out in the 7th percentile, right, where it has this 3.5, where I'm circling. I don't know if y'all can see my little thing going around and around. That 3.5%, that's $3.5 trillion. That is worth more than this whole group. So when Saagar says that our bottom has the same amount of money, he's lying. So basically, the 7th percentile has more money than all of Black America. We're only splitting about $3 trillion. They're splitting 3.5. So if you understand, Saagar is lying like a motherfucker. But I'm gonna break it down to make it easier for people, because you know, all of us haven't been at this shit. I've been at this shit for like years. I watched Tone's video like 3 times. I done read fucking Darity's report like 8 million times. So that same chart that we just saw, I want to pull it up one more time. just so I can say. So this chart that we just saw, right? This is black and white separated, right? So let's put them together in the same percentiles. So this is the large chart. And y'all jump in when you feel like it. So this is the large chart. You see the fucking difference? That is what the wealth looks like. So when Saagar said that that 75% of the wealth is the same, how? So white people are blue and black people are green. You see that the poor white line is smaller than the green line in the 1. You can't even see us compared to them in the 2. You go to the 3, you see we ain't got shit. 4 and 5. So when y'all be talking about, well, y'all have Oprah and Jay-Z and Beyonce, you see that little ass fucking bar? That's Oprah, Jay-Z, my fucking ass, my grandmama, with our fucking owning one home that we live in, not rentals, one home that we live in. Okay, that's everybody. That's our doctors. That's our lawyers. That's fucking MG ass. Like, that's everybody. So that's, you know what I mean? That is our creme de la creme. That is our top of the top. And because, you know, Saagar, you know, it seemed like he was having trouble, you know, reading that chart. And like, again, I don't know what his major was, but I'm pretty sure he didn't go to culinary school like I did. So I would expect him to be smarter than me. So this is 1, 2, and 3 together. And jump in anywhere y'all need to, especially you, Mud, because I know you know this shit. So this is 1, 2, and 3, right? Huh?
I said you're handling it. Like breaking it down.
Yeah. Oh, well, see, this is the thing. Listen, y'all. Listen. I need all of you people who do these progressive shows to understand we have been studying this shit for the past 2 years. We can rip your fucking arms off and beat you with them with this shit. So when you put out some propaganda bullshit, be ready for us to come for you, because we are not dumb. Contrary to popular belief, Black people are not dumb. We just don't get opportunities. We be the smartest broke motherfuckers ever. So
God,
let me get back into this.
Like
really?
me.
You're not dumb,
Nah,
bro. John be having some
I'm
profound
broke
shit.
though.
So sorry, y'all. This is gonna be long because I'm going through all of this because Saagar pissed me off. I made these charts this morning just so I could be like, "Fuck you, Saagar," because you're an anti-Black racist and you're a fucking propagandist.
Just go grill his ass, grill him.
I'm gonna grill him like a motherfucker. He's a propagandist. Like, he literally just lied to, what do we say? There's almost 150,000 people that watch this shit. So 150,000 people just saw him say that he was looking at a chart and he says he sees that 75% of Black people have the same wealth as white people. So that's a lie. So he's gonna have white people out here thinking that Black people have the same struggles as them, and we don't. Y'all motherfuckers have more money. So here we go. This is the 1 percentile, right? This is the broke mother. This is the brokest of the broke. So the brokest of the broke white people are worth minus 11,600. The brokest of the broke Black people are worth $25,622. So blue is white and green is Black. So do you see how our shit is larger in the negative? So even when you start talking about poor whites, and you know me, I'm a champion of the poor whites because the ancestors keep telling me I got to help them, which I think is because some of you motherfuckers, y'all ancestors ran off and passed, and now y'all still in our bloodline. And I think that's why the ancestors keep forcing me to care about you. But since they do, I'm going to do what I do. So let's move into the second percentiles, right? So second percentile, which is, again, this is the one up from being the poorest. White folks, y'all got $51,118. Now, mind you, this is the mean. So this is the average. Black people got $2,394. So even for your poor whites, now mind you, in the second percentile, y'all not quite this lowest group, but I'm pretty sure that y'all are considered white trash by that group. So y'all still got, what was that, 49,000, give or take, more than us, little give or take, maybe 48, just to be okay. So we get into the third percentile, right? Y'all got 171,978, and we got 19,753. So if you look at this, y'all got all this, and we got this. But Saagar said that the bottom 75% have the same amount of wealth. This is the
Saagar
bottom
said it's
3.
all the same.
This is the bottom 3 percentiles. Where do you see Black people having comparable wealth to white people? Even when you get into negative and poverty, we're still deeper in debt than white people are. So everything that Saagar said was a lie, and he's an anti-Black racist. And I don't care what anybody says. And again, Saagar, if you have a problem with me, start by telling me what your caste is, because I'm pretty sure that you're a Brahmin, which means you are the elite in your own country, and the people who look like me in your country are called untouchables. So why would you treat me different here? And I don't care if you're first generation. Those cultural things are inflicted in you. And I'm going to repeat this every time we talk about Saagar, and y'all can Google this. In Silicon Valley, Indians are practicing caste against other Indians. So people who have come over here who are Brahmins, they are blocking out people who come from a lower caste in America from getting more money, higher jobs, because of their caste. So if they do this to their own people in America, again, I'm saying in America, I'm not talking about what people do in their own country, because what you do in your own country ain't none of my fucking business. I'm talking about what you do here in this country that we inhibit. So if they're doing this to people who come from their same country, what the fuck do you think they're doing to Black people? And to be honest, poor whites, y'all better wake up. So let me keep going. Okay, so I'm gonna do so I actually broke these charts down. So what is this? What chart is this? Okay, so this is the 4th percentile, right? So now mind you, Saagar said everybody, but this is the 4th decile. Yeah, sorry, this is the fourth decile. Sorry, I put percentile, y'all. It's the 4th decile. This is the 4th decile of the chart, right? So white people have 434,000, and we have 434,817. We have 76,000. Can people tell me how these charts compare? And then I know Saagar was talking about in the 5th percentile, he was trying to say that that was the only place that there was a wealth difference. Hold on, sorry, I'm moving on. This is, oh no, this is 3. So this is the 3rd percentile. Again, this is in the part where, or the 3rd decile, sorry, the 3rd decile. So this is part of where Saagar was saying that we have the same wealth. Because if you said the top 10%, I'm just going to take that as the 5% decile. Like the top of the top, we're going to use that as the number 5 marker. So this is in the middle somewhere, right? So you see even 3 is somewhere in the middle, right? 1 to 5, 3 is like the middle. 3 is the middle, right? So in the middle of the wealth, y'all look at this chart. Y'all have way more money than us. 171,000. So you might as well say 172,000 versus 20,000. How are we the same? So stop asking me about what about poor whites? Listen, if y'all got to fight, y'all need to jump on so we can fight for this wealth redistribution. But outside of that, y'all still got more money. You may be poor, but you're not poor like us.
At all.
I'm sorry, y'all. I got to go through all these charts. Okay, so this is the 2nd percentile, right? Or sorry, the 2nd decile, right? So again, Saagar said the bottom 75% had the same wealth, right? You see this high ass number for white people, 51,000. You might as well just round it down to 51,000. If you round Blacks down to 2,000, you see the difference in the charts. Do not allow these people to play you and lie to you, because they will have you out here saying white supremacist shit, and that's not your stilo. So, and for y'all that don't know what stilo is, let me translate. For you white people who are not racist and actually consider yourselves anti-racist or consider yourselves people who care about people, when you let Saagar put that bullshit in your mind, he's fucking dropping propaganda. Nowhere in this chart are we anywhere near white people. Period. It is what it is. This is what the country has done. This is what many of your ancestors have done. So that was 2, right? Was that 3 or 2? Y'all don't remember, right?
I got cookies. I don't know.
I know. I'm sorry. There's so many. Okay, so this is the 1 decile, right? So this is the poorest of the poor, right? So the poorest of the poor. You see how white people, they poor, they in debt, but you see how much more in debt we are. So when y'all be like, but there's poor whites, your poor whites have more money than poor Blacks. Yeah, we all broke and we all in debt, but y'all still got more money. And again, that boils down to, if you want to fight for this wealth redistribution and get this money, but it's going to come with y'all signing on to reparations. If not, I don't give a fuck. And y'all can keep being broke, and we just going to keep living this fucked up life.
I'm saying.
Okay, I think I'm almost through with this. I think I've gone through all the charts I wanted to go through. So this is the top one. This is the one that Saagar was talking about, right? When he was like, "Oh, the top 10% are." Yes, yes. So when y'all think, so from now on, when you people sit here and be like, but Oprah and Jay-Z and Oprah, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Russell Wilson, Kanye West, all of them are in this little low black number. You see this big number? That's Jeff Bezos. That's fucking Bill Gates. That's what's the other fool name? Warren Buffett. So miss me. This is what Saagar did, but Saagar tried to equate like this was the only problem. But I already showed you where each chart that we are losing at
on every level
decile. So people are out here lying and playing games. Like there's no other way to put it. Like if you guys are anti-black white supremacists and y'all just need to own it. Like this is the thing, right? The reason why I like the South versus living in California. In California, when I go into certain places that are racist, I don't know that they're racist. The people don't like me, but they don't tell me what's going on. But I can, but you know, you might catch some looks or people might say some shit. When I go to the South, if I go somewhere I'm not supposed to be, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you're not from around here, huh?" Well, you know, we don't really have many of your kind around here. Your people up the road. So, you know, have a good day. That is them telling you we don't fuck with you and you need to get the fuck up out our shit. Not saying that in 2020 that's okay, but trust and believe. I rather the person who tells me that I'm not in the right place and I don't belong there than the person who sits there and has to fight through a smile, but in their head they're like, this fucking nigga here. And those are the ones I gotta worry about rolling up on me. The racist white person told me to leave and not be there. The racist liberal,
kind of them.
the racist liberal is giving me dirty looks and saying fuck shit under their breath, but I got to worry about them if I turn the corner because they might roll up on me. White people, the racist white people, white people told me we don't really want you around here, and you know, go about your day. And if you don't, you're gonna have problems. At least I know when I'm in danger. You understand what I'm saying? Versus, so y'all get on my nerves, but this is it. I went through all the charts. I feel like I went through all the charts. Y'all got anything? Because like I said, Saagar is a fucking liar and he's an anti-black racist. And either he can't read charts or he's just lying. He's a propagandist. Let's just call him a McCarthyite.
Or Matt Iglesias set those charts up to be.
You mean Matt Brunig? Matt Brunig did.
He definitely set those charts up to be deceptive. He definitely set them up to be deceptive.
Yeah. Exactly, because when you look at them, sorry, MG, I didn't mean to cut over you, but I'm gonna pull this chart up one more time. When you look at this chart, nowhere on this chart is it telling you where the money is being split. So here again, y'all are splitting at least $1 trillion per decile, right? Per decile. So where you see 74.6, that's $74.6 trillion. When we have 75.3%, that's for it's $130 billion. Okay. So we are not the same. You can't compare us to us. And if Saagar didn't understand, he should have did more research before bringing his anti-black racist ass. What is your caste? On to the hill and saying that bullshit. No, for real. This is some racist ass shit. This is some racist ass shit, and this is fucking propaganda. And y'all sitting around watching this propaganda. And to be honest, I want a fucking apology. I doubt that I'll get one, but I need people to understand that Saagar is an anti-black racist, and they are literally lying in this video. And MSNBC lies. Y'all supposed to be better than them, but you're fucking liars too. And this is why we don't trust you. And when you see black people wiling out on you online, this is why, because this is what we deal with every day. Go ahead, guys. I'm gonna mute myself for a minute.
Let me thank you, Sam. That was a presentation. Now I only have one thing to say, really. This is them taking a race project and trying to turn it into a class project. That's all this is, right? Because obviously there's an issue. Sam's numbers are 100% correct. He pulled them straight from Dr. Sandy Darity's numbers. She pulled them directly from Dr. Sandy Darity's numbers. So these are the numbers that Matt Brunig took and made them look like that previous chart. So it looks like that, okay, now all the money is at the top of the distribution. So let's go get that money at the top of the distribution. Not stating clearly that the top of our distribution and the top of the white distribution are not even miles apart. They are solar systems apart. Right. So we need to be honest about that. We need to be honest about that. And they're being totally dishonest about this. And this is the bullshit, like Sam was saying, this is the bullshit we talk about when we say people are racist or putting forward racist propaganda or things that are going to harm us, right? And as Sam stated, this is supposed to be the quote unquote left. Well, we know Saagar is a right winger, right? I don't know if all you know that, but Saagar is a right winger. Go to his Twitter profile and see that picture of him and Trump, and you'll understand what we're talking about. So nothing against whoever, but I'm just saying. All right, so that's all I got, folks. John?
Yeah, man. Sam just grilled his ass.
She broke it down. She broke it down.
Told you, she broke his whole fucking, see that, all the bullshit they be doing, son. And that shit is crazy, man. I've been knew that Saagar was a brown supremacist, man. When I first seen this motherfucker, he just came out of nowhere just talking about something. He always talking about the culture war and why it's hurting the working class. And he talk like, you already know, dog whistling like a motherfucker, just dog whistling. Like, bro, man, like you was a Brown Clan member. Like he a Brown Clan member. And I'm happy that Sam just called out his bullshit. He did all of this data and broke this shit down and realized he got all the way down, because you can't break it down unless you really did this. He did the studying. So he's seeing how the wealth, you feel me, was taken from us. Like he's seeing, you feel me, he went through, they did this shit down by like desktop, because when you're trying to figure out why something is the way it is, you have to go back and do the history and do the studying. So he knows why. Like he knows there's a huge wealth gap, but he gonna send Saagar the shit that look like our wealth the same as white people's shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they can make their anti-black, anti-ADOS class reduction arguments, man. But Sam just grilled his ass, like real shit. Like, don't worry, I got a feeling Saagar gonna be on the show a lot more, because he say a lot of anti-black bullshit, man. And that shit from the left gotta really stop. It gotta stop from everywhere.
All the time. Saagar is a racist. He's an anti-black racist, and I don't give a fuck what he says. Like, you are, and he'd be like, "Oh, people, you are a brown-faced white supremacist. It doesn't matter. In your country, you are the white person of your country, because I'm sure you're a Brahmin. And if you aren't, then tell us, what is your caste? So you are racist in your own country. You look down on people who look like me and my family. And you only get a pass because here you get to be like, oh, well, he's brown too. No, you're a fucking anti-black racist, period. And you're a liar. Like, I have no respect for you. I can deal with racists, but don't sit there and be like, oh, well, I look at the charts and 70% of black people and white people have the same wealth. That is a fucking lie. And you are a propagandist. You are a McCarthyite. Even though you're not a Democrat, you're a McCarthyite. That is propaganda. And anybody who believes in justice should have a problem with this. And I need you white people to call Saagar out on this shit. Because how would you feel right now if he was sitting there talking about your people like this? He is basically lying, trying to say that we are equal, and we have never been equal in this country. If you want to make us equal or you want to give us equity, that's one thing, but let's not sit here and lie about what the fuck is going on.
That's
what I'm
saying.
Sam said it all. I'm done.
We ready to go back to the video?
No,
I didn't even let Saagar. Yeah, go ahead, Mud.
Yeah, I mean, shit, Sam broke it down. What it really is the deception. Like, this is that Lee Atwater shit. This is like this is the leftist version of it. But like Saagar, of course, he's on the right, but what he's doing is drawing from the leftist arguments. That's the con of this show. What it is like the left and the right coming together using similar arguments for, you know, a purpose of really fucking over mainly us.
I'm gonna play, since you brought up that clip, Mud, I'm gonna play it for him just in case they don't know what it is.
Here's how I would approach that issue as a statistician or a political scientist, or no, as a psychologist, which I'm not, is how abstract you handle the race thing. In other words, you start out, and now y'all aren't quoting me on this. You start out in 1954 by saying nigger, nigger, nigger. By 1968, you can't say nigger, that hurts your backfire, so you say stuff like forced busing, states' rights and all that stuff. And you're getting so abstract now, you're talking about cutting taxes and all of these things you're talking about are totally economic things, and the byproduct of them is blacks get hurt worse than whites.
That's all. The Democrats have found their own dog whistles. This class reductionist shit is a dog whistle. Oh, well, if we just forgive student loan debt and do and give people free college, then black people will be great. No, we'll still be fucking broke. Because we'll still have to depend on you to give us a fucking job. Even with our college degrees right now, white people who haven't fucking graduated high school, not have a high school diploma, not have a college degree, people who have not graduated high school have more wealth than black people. That's it.
Yeah, well, just to be clear, these folks are supposed to be left of the Democrats. Well, Krystal's supposed to be left of the Democrats, but at the end of the day, for us, it's all the same shit. It's all the same shit. Left, right, and center.
Anybody else got anything to say?
No. Hey, family, I got a dip. Thank you.
You done already?
I'm exhausted. I love you.
I don't blame you. We love you. We'll finish this up. All right.
So the entire racial wealth gap, as we understand it, is between the top 10% of whites and the top 10% of blacks. Both of those groups hold the majority of wealth in that.
But again, I'm sorry, I know we already went through this, but look at him smiling and playing games. And Krystal, for you to go along with this, you suspect to me too, boo-boo. I know Irony likes you, but you know, I have an issue with white women. I say that all the time. That's why I work through it. But I don't trust you, because for Saagar to say that, oh, it's only between the top, I already showed y'all the charts. Saagar's a fucking liar. He's either a fucking liar or he's stupid and can't read charts. Either way, like, again, 150 people have seen this fucking propaganda.
Category. Same with college degrees. Same with non-college degrees. Same with every racial group in America.
And we know that's bullshit. Hold on, let me pull up that chart real quick, because he said same with college degrees, right? I already said that a white person who doesn't graduate high school has more wealth than a person who has a college degree. So, you know, if you notice all this shit that Saagar's talking, because y'all see that I put this shit up, and I'm gonna make sure you can see him, and y'all need to go back and watch this video yourself. If you notice, when he's talking all this shit, they didn't put up one chart. When people start talking numbers and they don't put up charts, be suspect, because they pull in a con.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and pull this shit up. Again, when he's like, oh, if it's wealth, right? If they have college degrees or not. High school diploma or less, white people, 265,000. Black people, 0. Latinx, 5,050. Asians, not available. You know why it's not available? Because over 63% of Asians have college degrees. Okay? That's why it's not available. They don't not graduate high school. Bachelor's degree, right? You got, 258,000 blacks, minus 19,000. Latinos, 53,000. Fucking Asian, 705,000. So when y'all be like, well, what about Latino numbers? Y'all just got here and y'all are in the positive and we in the negative. So yeah, you don't match white numbers, but you just got here and you didn't build a country. No disrespect, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like they just want to make it a conversation about poverty when it's not that. Like the bigger conversation is the harm that has been done to citizens in America to create that poverty. Not every group has a story like that. Like the natives might have a story like that, and they've already had their, received certain benefits for that. And then there's us, ADOS, and we have not received benefits. So what the conversation needs to be about is, reparations, something to resolve this grievance. Like these other groups that might have poverty, like, okay, yeah, we might need to do a poverty program, but that's a different conversation. Like Black people need to be put out of that conversation. That conversation needs to be a general American conversation after you've done reparations or after you committed to reparations.
You got anything more for us, John?
Yeah, man, y'all, all right, y'all killing them, man. Like real talk, it's just, it's like to me, Saagar he just punching bag to us, man. It's just that, but the thing about it, I understand. I see Sam Rage is really justified because what he's doing, son. What he's doing is he's really like, this is dangerous. What he's really doing when MG was talking about we facing genocide. This is fueling that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you come on the you feel me? Y'all like this rising, it's the left wing, it's a left wing show, and this is this. and you bringing Fox News talking point to lefties.
Yeah, the KKK populists.
Word up, and they agreeing with each other too, right in front of us. We like, oh, what the fuck? Like, real
exactly.
And
Krystal's supposed to be super left, right? She's supposed to be a progressive, and Saagar's supposed to be a Republican. But listen, this is what I experienced with the Bernie shit. Y'all both sides are racist, and y'all love dunking on black people. Y'all love fucking pissing on our cornflakes.
Both Krystal Ball and Saagar's anti-black devils. I'm sorry, they goddamn devils, man. Like they got to stop this shit, man, because they just lying and being disingenuous and trying to just motherfucking do all this class reductionism. They're trying like class reductionism isn't real. It isn't a real thing. We got to give the white poors the same as the black. But that Sam just showed, the black poors have less than the white poors due to slavery, due to shit that the government did to our families. White people are poor due to the failures of American capitalism. Like I said before, like we are the fucking, you feel me? Like we are the foundation that shit is built upon. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because capitalism ain't working out for you, now you feel me? Like that's not, capitalism ain't working out for us, but that's because we built the motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? It's built on our failure. Like, that's why, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's built on our failure. And this shit is, hey Sam, that's all I got to say about this shit. This shit is ridiculous. Real.
I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said. My teacher said it the best. She was my history teacher. She's a friend of mine. She said, "Black people are the leather strap that the knife is sharpened on to cut all other groups' throats."
Yeah,
that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and play the video.
America. Are you beginning to sense a pattern? If you break it down by every metric possible, the top 10% owns the majority of the wealth, which means.
Sorry, I'm pause that. That is true. The top 10% of white people own the majority of the wealth in their demographic, and the top 10% of black people own the majority of the wealth in the black demographic. But again, I'm about to pull up this chart again while this motherfucker is lying, and I'm going to show you how the top 10% of blacks are still fucking paupers compared to white people. Again, Saagar is a brown-faced white supremacist who is most likely a Brahmin, and I need him to identify his caste, and he is out here pushing, I don't even know. It is genocide, because basically what these two people are telling you, what this white woman and this fucking brown Brahmin, who is the white person in his country, are saying is that black people should just be fixed through universal policies that will not even fix poor whites. Until I hear a policy made that'll fix a poor white person, I'm not listening to it, because if you're not fixing your poor whites, you're damn sure not fixing us, because we're fucking poor. The shit that you're talking about doesn't fix your own people. So why the fuck would I think that you care about mine? Should I just go back to playing the video, or y'all got anything else?
Any redistributive policy or universalist policy, which affects things across the board, is going to rise from the bottom 50% up within that category. That is how you solve these problems. I've been beating this drum for a long time against the identitarians, because it's just like, this is what Iglesias says. He says that almost every racial inequality can be greatly ameliorated with normal redistributive policy. And Democrats have tied themselves into the knots with the idea that this is not true. And it's
I just want to throw this out there for people who are listening. What is normal? No, what is normal redistributive policy? What does that mean? If you know, please drop it in the chat. Do you know, Mud?
It means ignore race and allow black people to remain on the bottom of the society. That's what it means.
For real. Gotcha. And you see what he said? Yeah, he was like, yo, these identitarians, yeah, you know.
Yeah,
talking about people that care about black people.
Yeah, fuck these black people who are American descendants of slavery, who actually want something and actually want a piece of the American pie that they fucking built. Everybody talks about the American dream. How is it that the motherfuckers who descend from the people who built the American dream can't fucking have it? I told that shit to my homegirl. That's probably why she don't talk to me no more. I told her, I was like, your parents came here for you to live a better life and for you to have the American dream. I was like, you live in a small ass apartment, you have a shitty job. At least you don't want to have kids, so at least you won't have to worry about the permanent struggle. But if you wanted to have a family, you'd be struggling. I was like, the best thing that you have is that your family's the tight knit. So y'all came here for the American dream. You're not getting it. Your sisters aren't getting it. So who the fuck is getting it? So this American dream is a fucking myth and a lie. And you get mad at black people for wanting this bullshit that you've been selling. We built the American dream. Y'all came here for free land for the hopes of you get some land and then you can get you some niggas to farm it. Like, fuck you.
Word.
And this doesn't go for all of you, but again, some of y'all need to learn your history because some of you motherfuckers listening to me right now descend from fucking slave owners. And if you descend from a slave owner, you have some reckoning to do, whether you like it or not. You ain't necessarily got to tell people, but you need to figure out how you're going to make black people's lives better because your life is built on the backs of our ancestors. And motherfucker, we're fucking family.
Yep.
Yeah, you said the word, sis.
No, because that's how I feel. It's so ridiculous. Like, a lot of y'all try to present, oh, well, you know, most people didn't own slaves. Do your ancestry. I have a feeling a lot of y'all gonna be able to trace y'all motherfucking asses back to plantations. And even for you fuckers who didn't own slaves, it was very usual for people who had less money to rent slaves. So let's say you didn't have enough money to own a plantation, but you did have a little bit of land that you needed to farm. You could go to the plantation owner and rent you a slave for a day, a week, months. So for some of y'all, like, well, my family never owned slaves. Your family could have still been fucking slave drivers. And let's go further. Even for those of y'all who didn't own slaves, you guys were the ones who were the slave drivers. You were working as the people who were the what are they called? The overseers. You were working as overseers. White women and white men were fucking slave catchers, and all that fucking cotton that was being picked was going to the north. And your fucking parents who were in the north working in those factories that you complain about working at slave wages, which is fucking rude. A slave does not get paid. So for your family members who are working at fucking poverty wages, we picked that cotton so you could have a fucking job. The same way Black people being locked up is a fucking jobs program for you and y'all people. Y'all be in the middle of a fucking white ass town in the middle of nowhere. No Black people in town, but y'all got a prison with a bunch of Black people in it. And everybody in town work at the prison. That's a jobs program. You are eating off of our failure. So I need y'all to wake the fuck up. And if you don't want to wake up, just like Robin DiAngelo says, go walk up to the mirror, look yourself in the face and say, I choose to collude with white supremacy, and then go about your day. But let's not sit here and pretend like it's something different.
Hey, and we don't need to just go back to slavery on that shit. Like white people for a long time, y'all agreed to do the redlining, y'all agreed to do the segregation, y'all agreed to do a bunch of motherfucking shit. Y'all colluded together to fuck us over for generations after slavery. So just because your people weren't here during slavery doesn't mean your hands aren't dirty, your people's hands aren't dirty, and all of this shit.
Exactly. Like, a lot of y'all come from sundown towns. Do some research.
Exactly.
Like my grandparents live in Inglewood. Inglewood was a sundown town in the 20s and 30s. There's a bunch of sundown towns all over the place. A lot of y'all descend from, like I said, white racial terrorists. Y'all was our Al-Qaeda. And y'all need to do some research because a lot of y'all sitting around thinking your hands is clean, and you were born and bathed in the blood of my ancestors, of their robbery, theft, and their fucking murders. And like I said in that video, in the thing I did on YouTube, I don't want your fucking guilt. I don't need your guilt, but I need you to know that a lot of you guys come from fucking monsters. And instead of your guilt, what I need you to do is get your shit, and for us to get together and you fight for me to get this reparations, and I fight with you so we can get wealth redistribution and everything else so we can fix this country. But if you're not for that, fuck you. Because me and my ancestors, we don't give a fuck. And on top of that, until you do right by Black people, this country is going to continue to fucking crumble.
Yeah, and it's not like Sam said, it's not about guilt. Like, it's not like we're putting you on trial or some goofy shit like that. The thing is like what it's about is like an understanding and a reckoning with what the fuck happened. Like, that's what we need. We need to have it corrected. Like, we need to have it fixed. And reparations is the only way we're going to get to that point. So, like, I don't need you to like cry tears or crocodile tears most of the time about what the fuck happened because your family was involved in some bullshit back in the day. I really don't give a fuck about you being sad about it. Let's just get to this reparations conversation and get this shit done.
For real, fuck your feelings. You know, it's not about, you're right though, it's not about motherfucking, because that's what they're gonna try to do. That's the white guilt and the white shame. No, it's about,
I don't want your shame. I don't want your guilt. That's
Word
it.
up, we want our shit. Like we real talk. Like we ain't trying to guilt you. We really don't give a damn. Just give us what's owed to us and leave us the fuck alone. That's what we always wanted. Give us our shit and leave us alone. But everybody always keep fucking with us. Now it's like, now we at the final straw. Be like, yo, for real. Like for real. Like first, like Sam said, like if you don't fix us, the country is gonna collapse. And guess what? Black people, we don't. So what? The country been on collapsing since we got to this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck you talking about? So, you know, and the thing about it is like when you talking about like Mud said, it's not just slavery. Like I'm not gonna lie, I done went to ancestry.com. Yo, real shit. I done found a distant relative. She had a picture of my grandfather that I'd never seen before with my grandma. You feel me? It was like my third, fourth cousin. She's like, "Yo, how's this your last name?" I said, "That's my granddaddy." She was like, "Your granddaddy is him?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, I think I'm your cousin." She's like, "Cause my aunt then sent me a picture. This your grandfather? Send me this picture." It was my grandfather when he was like 25, 26 years old with my grandma and shit. And then I end up finding my great grandfather and my grandfather's drafts card. They draft cards. Like, so I found my great grandfather draft card from World War I. And on the draft cards, it says occupation. And my great grandfather's occupation said laborer. You know what I'm saying? Like he was in Florida, it said laborer. So that's penis right there. When you talk about penis, you feel me? That's you feel me? Because penis was real, like damn near neo-slavery. So that's penis right there. But then my grandfather's draft card, he got drafted like 1940, 1945, towards the end of the war, when the economy roaring off the World War II economy and so-called, you feel me, people was getting jobs. His fucking occupation was unemployed. You know what I'm saying? He was unemployed. He was 20, 21 years old. So you feel me? Like we been eating the failure. So for this motherfucker to come on here, been eating the failure. So this brown devil, you know what I mean? And Krystal Ball a devil too, because she aiding this motherfucker, being this little, and you feel me, trying to play games like you a devil too, Krystal Ball. Both of y'all.
She an accomplice, right? If they was robbing a bank, her ass would get the
same
you
getting fit in. Like word up, you getting fit in off rip. You was the driver. You just because Saagar in the bank robbing everybody, laying everybody down, but you the driver. You getting 15 to 20. Saagar going to jail for life, and he gonna get the death penalty. But you getting 15 to 20. You were looting in this shit, man. And a lot of you lefties do this shit, man. And it's telling that we already cooked KKK Kaliski, and that he came on and KKK Kaliski then did. I see them talking about Saagar, and he not racist, man. He not right wing, man. See that shit? That's the games they play. Whatever. This is what it is. We coming for our shit. We coming for our check.
Yo, and when y'all come at me, please don't just slide in the YouTube comments. Come holler at me on Twitter. Because I got, depending on the day, I got time. Because we can go. For real. Because a lot of y'all on some bullshit. Okay, are we ready for me to keep playing the video? Or you got anything else, Matt?
Nah, that's it.
Okay.
The alternative, I want who don't believe in any redistribution or in increasing wages whatsoever.
No,
so
they
I
just say everything's great. The meritocracy, the American dream,
so
bootstraps, it's already fine.
I get it. I am not saying there are a lot of people on the right who hold my position because they're much more concerned with the debt.
What is his position? KKK populism? What has he said that would do anything? No. Tell me, y'all. And you motherfuckers in the chat, for those of y'all who gonna put on your fucking Superman capes for these motherfuckers. I need y'all to drop in the chat what he said that was like profound that, Republicans. Listen, the Republican top and what the New Deal, and I know like the Republicans and the Democrats switch sides and da-da-da. But let's just say when the New Deal happened, racist Republicans and racist liberals were all for that economic transfer. So whether they were right or left, which we know at a certain point were switched, both were on board for getting those free fucking handouts from the government. And as soon as it came time for niggas, they got on the same team.
Yep. Yeah, they always do.
Sorry, I had to stop that because he's just so disingenuous. He just makes me sick. And I know that I know that he's young because Saagar's not even 30 yet, but he needs to read some books, or he's just gonna go out here and be the next Bobby Jindal, which is fine. But you a fucking anti-black racist, and Bobby Jindal and Nikki Haley got through that shit because that was a different era. But black folks, ADOS folks, we watching you fucking people of color. We see that y'all don't like us, and I don't mean all of y'all, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all, like, just because you're brown if a white person said some shit to me and I would have thought it was racist and I would have had a problem with it, why would I not have a problem with your brown ass saying it? We not the same people.
Exactly.
Ooh, this is gonna be fire. I can't wait for this to go out.
Than they are with any of this. But if you want to solve it, this is the only way. That's it.
Well, and that's my thing is like, look, I believe in certain policies which are not popular. That's fine. And it's one of the things that I do actually admire in politicians. Like, it's one of the things I really admired about Andrew Yang. Right? He comes out, nobody even knew what UBI was. Had
a 20% approval rate.
20% approval. Like, everyone's like, we don't know what this is, and if we did, we don't like it. Right? But he was like, no, I did the research. I believe this is the right policy. And he got into the race to advance that ball, and it worked. And now we are in a different place in that conversation.
Don't you think it's crazy that we watched the Kyle Kalinske video where he was downplaying reparations at 30%? And now we're watching this video and they're trying to give all these praises to this motherfucker pushing a fucking policy that's at 20%. Like what the fuck is going on? They're pushing a policy that's at 20% and they're cheering this on, but the other motherfucker was all right, okay. It's all games, yo. It's all fucking games, man.
Right. And the funny thing is, if you don't pay attention, they be getting shit over you. But maybe it'll be good for us breaking these videos down, because now people are like, why do they stop every 2 seconds? Because they dog whistling like a motherfucker. Y'all are dog whistling like a motherfucker, like 100%. And Krystal, you should do better, because I thought you and Irony were friends. Like, or maybe you're not. I know y'all are friendly. Like, step your game up.
Conversation, and it's been incredibly powerful and effective what he was able to do. So I have respect for that, but it has to be a policy that's actually worth it. And with things like affirmative action, which I do tie into kind of the same category of like putting Kamala Harris on the ticket, it's much more about
putting Kamala Harris on the ticket wasn't an affirmative action play. It was putting a black face on imperialism play. The same way they did with Obama. They want to put black faces in high places because they out here beating up and fucking up the world. And the world has realized you motherfuckers ain't shit. So when they put a brown face on it, it makes people more docile. The same way when Barack Obama's half white and Kenyan ass was in office, y'all was sitting there looking at this fucking brown skinned Negro talking about, oh, you know, he's great. And at the same time, he was bombing all these brown people all over the country. They gave this fucker a Nobel Peace Prize at the same time while he was bombing people. But a lot of people went to sleep. Like, fuck, I had a conversation with this Latina chick that works at where I pick up my food from all the time. And she was like, yeah, you know, but Joe Biden and Obama's helping him, so it should get better. Because she was talking about how she was concerned for her friends who were undocumented. And I was like, for you to be concerned about your friends who are undocumented and think that Joe Biden was the answer, that shows me that you know nothing about your shit. How is it? That's not my issue, and I don't worry about that issue, but I know that Obama deported way more people than Trump. So how do you not even know that this brown-faced motherfucker was fucking up your people? But again, it wasn't hers, it was her friends, because she was first generation. And the gag is she made the distinction. All right, y'all ready?
Well, I just wanted to say, like, like this jab of like, all right, they're viewing Kamala as, you know, ADOS. So they're using like affirmative action as a jab, like she hasn't earned the spot to be the vice president, blah, 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 blah. And not to really defend Kamala, but like, yo, after Trump, like all this shit is like, don't try to act like fuckers have to earn these spots. Like y'all motherfuckers let Trump get in this motherfucker with no fucking like
nothing
credentials at all. Like what the fuck are y'all talking about?
No city council, no fucking governor, no fucking Congress. Like this motherfucker went from reality TV to fucking president. I want to see a black person do this shit. Like, at least Obama's bitch ass was a junior senator, and I hate Obama. Him, I will talk about like a dog, because Obama is a black-faced white supremacist. He is a Kenyan man Kenyan man with a white daddy, and he fucking hates black people. And you can go back. He hates black Americans who descend
white mama. He got a white mama.
That's what I said. He is a white man with a Kenyan daddy. Okay. Just you know, because
but I want to be clear. I want to be clear. I don't fuck with Kamala. You know,
I hate her too.
Yeah,
She
but
got me
like I'm
blocked by
just
Roland
saying,
Martin.
like we're not gonna let you motherfuckers use this dog whistle like y'all motherfuckers do to jab at black people, like through Kamala, you know, like
And
you're gonna
Kamala and fucking Saagar have more in common than fucking black people,
exactly.
Americans who
More than
descend
us.
from slavery. Because again, Kamala is an Indian Jamaican. Her mother is from India. Her father is an Indian who was born in Jamaica. Jamaicans are white, they're black, they're Indian, they're fucking Chinese. I had a homegirl, and when I lived in Miami, who I always talk about her, this fucking like 5'8" fucking gorgeous bombshell, bomb ass body, like sick, like them sick video girls. Like she could have pulled anybody, no matter what race. That bitch was Jamaican and she was Chinese. Okay, she wasn't black Chinese. She was Jamaican and she was Chinese. Both her parents were Chinese. She just happened to be born in Jamaica. So y'all gotta start understanding the difference between race and ethnicity, because that's some bullshit. So yeah, fuck Kamala. And even her daddy said fuck her when she said that freaking thing about she likes to smoke weed because she's Jamaican, and he was so offended. And he did a whole article talking about how his family were slave owners and how, you know, he's proud of them and how he's so disappointed in her for saying the shit like that. And the gag is her parents were slave owners and they enslaved fucking Irish white people. So for all y'all white people, like, Irish were slaves too in Jamaica, motherfuckers, not here.
But yo, like I'm just saying, we're gonna be done with all of this. Affirmative action is some shit you're gonna throw at black people, like we're not worthy of these positions. Nah, all that shit is dead. Like we're not playing those games no more.
Yeah, and like Mud, like you were saying about the what they're doing is that, like I said, they're trying to conflate like tangible, specific, targeted like policy that could really, you know, that's real policy. You're trying to conflict specific policy. It's not for any, non-inclusive policy for black people, not for nobody else, but non-inclusive policy for any of those people, black people in America, American Negroes, particularly us. They're trying to equate that to identity politics. Like, see, this is why the CBC. This is why we give smoke to the motherfucking CBC, because they don't do shit for anybody. They definitely don't do shit for us. But the CBC's incompetence and not really helping us is strengthening these motherfuckers' arguments, because they're like, yo, you got Maxine Waters and you got him and Lewis and you got them. Black people, look, and everything's still fucked up and they colluded with the oligarchs. And see, that's identity politics. You see that? They just got black people in high places doing bullshit. But when you're talking about affirmative action, it's a targeted, specific, direct policy that was really, you know, was really inclusive now, but it's really made to help us. You know what I mean? Like, so they're trying to conflate. See, this is just the beginning of them trying to just bake in your brain. So when reparations come up or specific target, anything targeted to black people, you feel me? No, you can't do that shit. No, this is bullshit. Trying to split everybody, and all this other shit. So like you're right. I know you ain't defending motherfucking Cop Malo. Like, we don't fuck with Cop Malo over here.
At
Oh,
all.
I don't know what you feel me, but
you know I got Willie Brown issues with her. Keep going.
Yeah, but Mud, yeah, hell yeah. But Mud point is valid. Like, you can't just be trying to be on some shit like, yo, see, making Kamala the president. This is why you can't just put this is a reason of affirmative act. Like, come on, man. Like, that's straight up bull. Like, it's bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's some straight up and down bullshit. Like, and seeing people, these doppelgangers and like, feel me, people that you think they ADOS and they not, and then the CBC's incompetence and Black Boule. This is, y'all just feeding into this shit. So then when some shit do come down the pipe that can help us, motherfuckers like this that's on the quote unquote left could do this shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
They on the left doing it, as long as they don't talk about Negroes, then they righter than the right wing. Because again, I was called a nigga and told to go back to Africa by Bernie supporters during this election season. Those Trump supporters that y'all talk about how are staunch racists, and again, I'm not saying that all of them aren't, but I'm not saying that all of them are. But I know more Trump supporters were for reparations and weren't calling me niggers and telling me to go back to Africa than you motherfuckers. So, like, let's keep it a buck. Like, don't pretend like y'all don't got racists in your clique. And, you know, if you're hearing this and you're not a racist, then cool. But are you sure you're not racist? Because you might not be a I hate you nigga, burn a cross on your lawn kind of racist. But are you a, I don't really feel like they would fit with the team. We're going to go with John. Not Black John.
Hey sis, yo, fam, did y'all see the video of the 13% with Cynthia Arthur when they had brought the white conservative on. They brought a white conservative on, and the white conservative was down with reparations for real. It's like he's like, I'm a conservative, but it makes sense. I swear, I was like, yo,
no,
it's one of the. I gotta check that shit out.
I've had way better
crazy.
interactions with Republicans when talking about reparations. The only thing that they not down for is us cutting our check and giving people who got here 30 years ago. And I guess we'll get to this at the end because I'm gonna tell y'all how I really feel about affirmative action when we finish this video. So are y'all are we ready, or Mud, you got anything else?
Nah, we can go ahead.
Okay,
let's play it through.
Yeah, because we at the end. So let's just play it through and we'll give our final thoughts.
Yeah.
To the world how enlightened you are, then it is about the actual result. And this is like outside of race relations or any of that, this is one of my major critiques of mainstream liberals is they care more about their own projection of virtue than they do any ultimate goal or acquisition of power. They don't really care about changing things. They mostly care about projecting that they're good people, that they're not racist. Look, that's good. I'm glad if if you're really not racist, that's fantastic. Congratulations, good for you. But if you are actually just looking at the numbers, which policies will move the needle most on the issues you claim to care about, you're headed in the wrong direction.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, next on Rising, Team Rising is going to talk about California Governor Gavin Newsom's major hypocrisy when Rising continues.
Okay.
Well, the reparations bill, that's made by the time. Everybody be mad he signed that shit.
Okay, so with what she was saying, when she was like, they pretend about the things that they care about, so do you, sweetheart. Because everything that you're proposing doesn't help Black people. So, and I know I will have inserted the forgiving college debt doesn't help us shit. But at the end of the day, like you a fake friend, you an enemy, boo. Like from what I see, Krystal, you an enemy. Like you are not like I told Marianne, you are not my champion, even though you're not trying to be a champion of Black people, but you obviously don't give a fuck about us talking about the virtue signaling. So what else y'all got to say before I get into affirmative action? Because I told y'all I was going to tell y'all how when I was in my philosophy class, when we had to do like an argument and stand in front of the class, I was going to tell y'all what I had to say about affirmative action.
Well, I think she's right about the progressives, like for the most part. Like she's not lying about them, but it's not like she's trying to steer them in a direction that's going to actually benefit us. It's just she's going to steer them in a direction to ignore us. So that's basically it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with y'all, man. I just think that I feel like this show, the Rising, this shit is a motherfucking problem. You know what I mean? Like, it should have been a problem. Like this was really like 15 minutes of straight. It was hard for us to get through this video, man, because this was some straight anti-Black. You feel me? This shit was like, yo, is this the alt-right channel? What the fuck type shit is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, see that, but to the average lefty, she's like, yeah. See, what they doing is like, he's like, yeah, see that? That's why I knew $15 hour minimum wage and Medicare for all could solve the problem. Those Black people that want reparations are hoteps. Nah. You feel me? Like, yo, this is straight dog whistling at the highest level on the left. You know what I'm saying? We called that bullshit out. All them charts and all this trickery they was trying to do was all bullshit. And and I feel like Krystal Ball is aiding. I don't give a fuck. She's aiding in like real shit. I would charge you with aiding in white supremacy. Aiding and abetting white supremacy. You get 25 years, like real shit. Throw her under the jail. And
but Saagar, should we pretend like that hasn't been white woman's place in history? Y'all are the right hand of white supremacy.
Yep, that's all I got to say. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got to say.
Okay. Anything else, Mud? You good? Because I'm about to say. Okay, so when I was in my philosophy class and we had to, so first of all, I voted for affirmative action in California. But when I was in my philosophy class in the fall, we all had to choose pro or con, for or against affirmative action. And I actually argued against affirmative action. So personally, I am against affirmative action because affirmative action is not for the people who it was meant to be for. Affirmative action was supposed to be for American descendants of slavery. I will make sure that video from Lyndon Baines Johnson is in this video where he basically talks directly, specifically about us. In 1954, there was less than 1% of Black immigrants here. In 1954, there wasn't no mass amount of Mexicans, Latinos, Indians, none of y'all was here in real large numbers. The majority of the people here were black and white, and a handful of Chinese. So that shit was never meant for you. So when the Supreme Court knocked down that, saying that it couldn't be specifically for the black race because of that, and they included white women and minorities, the reason why affirmative action keeps getting shot down is because it doesn't make sense the way that you guys are doing it. Because the way that affirmative action is being done right now, it helps everybody but straight white men. How is everybody else oppressed? As a gay white man, how were you oppressed? Like, yeah, you might have had to go through some shit. People were mean to you, but at the end of the day, it's not the same as being like financially oppressed. And no disrespect, I believe everybody should be able to go out here in this world and live how they want to live. But when people look at me, they know I'm black. When people look at you, they don't know that you're gay or lesbian unless you tell them or unless you show them your partner. And I'm not saying nobody should have to go back in the closet, but I'm saying that you and I are not the same and we don't have the same fucking thing. So getting back to this, so this shit was not for you guys. The number one beneficiary of affirmative action is white women. So all these people who are fighting against, they're like, oh, well, the majority of people of color, the reason why the majority of people of color voted against it is because they think it would help black people. Asians fight against affirmative action is, again, they feel like, oh, well, black people are always asking for something. Even though y'all got 2 economic empowerment acts, y'all run to the government to get money and gifts and shit like that. But as soon as black people march in the street, you talk about how black people are fighting for this and that, and and this and that. So at the end of the day, like, all of y'all are fucking hypocrites. And that's why in my class I fought against affirmative action, because affirmative action is not being used the way that it's supposed to be. And when Krystal was talking about, oh, well, we've had all these years, no, we didn't. When they started pigeonholing white women and people of color, affirmative action started going to people of color and not black people. So miss me with the bullshit. And that's why, like I said, that's why I'm personally not for affirmative action. If they want to do affirmative action, it needs to be ADOS specific. And if it's not American descendant of slavery, if it's not American descendant of slavery specific, then I need, then whatever. I don't give a fuck. The next thing, if you want me to actually give a fuck about it, at best it would be if you did it by class. Because at least if you did it by class, then it would actually hit Black Americans. Because American descendants of slavery, I think Koreans and the Vietnamese are like the poorest people in California. So if they did that, especially in LA. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, I don't believe in affirmative action in general.
Let's not give them no ideas about.
No, see, but the thing about it is, this is the thing about it is, like, I'm not for affirmative action in its current form, right? So let's just say what they're saying, oh, affirmative action doesn't work. Well, if you want affirmative action to work, because this is the thing, I just want you to give me my reparations. So how you fix everybody else is how you fix everybody else. You fixing class does not change the fact that you owe me a debt. You owe me fucking money. The same way, if your neighbor and you loaned him $5,000 and then tomorrow he comes up on 10 grand, that does not get rid of the fact that you owe that motherfucking money. So why is it when it comes to Black people, we just pretend like, oh yeah, we don't owe them nothing? But I feel what you say. I'm not out here trying to cape for them. I'm just saying, like, I don't believe in affirmative action in its current form, because the main people Black people are less than 5% of the population in California. Affirmative action would have went majority to white women, next Asians, and then it would have went to Latinos, and white Latinos at that, not brown Latinos. And most of my friends are brown Latinos.
It's not like I'm saying what you're saying is like necessarily wrong. It's just like,
I'm not mad at you.
Like they're already trying to hit us from every fucking angle. Like let's like, we gotta hold the line and let them like make some fucking arguments. Like
I feel you, but you know me, I'm an analytical thinker. I'm a problem solver. So if you throw a problem out there, I'm gonna figure out how to fix it. It's just you motherfuckers who be sitting around here trying to pretend like, oh, this is the problem. Like, oh, everybody's thirsty. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna dig a hole in the backyard. Like, is there a well back there? No, we're just gonna dig a hole. You know, maybe it'll rain and we can all scoop water out the mud. Like, fuck.
But I agree with y'all, especially especially the way that our society, the caste system, still in place. So if affirmative action was put back into place in a certain way, then white women would probably be the top beneficiaries of that.
Like they were before.
Yeah, but But as far as like real shit, even though the white Latinos, of course, I know that but the brown lot, even though I told you in the last episode, I said Latino, my nigga, like that's my dog. Like, but when it comes to like real shit, like when it comes to like
economics,
his people,
when it comes to money,
economics and power, when it comes to anything dealing with some type of any position, power, economics, he not fucking with me at all. And I feel like, say if he got reparations, he might not be my dog no more. You know what I'm saying? Like he might not be my friend no more.
Or he may be your best friend. Then he gonna be
or
like,
he might be.
You want to invest in the shop?
Yep. See that? It could go either way. But I feel like they still put the brown, even the brown Latino, they put them above us, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like they above us. Like as far as
we're the bottom.
Look at the society. Like we at the dirt bottom. I don't give a fuck if you hate Mexicans and all this other shit. You still looking at? They not at the bottom of this society. They not the bottom cast here, and they know that. Even the undocumented people know. They know that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like you said, they might bring some of that anti-black racism from their countries because we already know Latinos do have they deal with a lot of colorism and shit like that. Like, when the last time you seen the black Puerto Rican? It's a lot of them motherfuckers. I ain't seen a black Puerto Rican on TV since Roberto Clemente. That's like 1970. I don't know no black Puerto Ricans. That's the last black Puerto Rican I seen was Roberto Clemente. And it's all right, for real. When the last time you seen the black Puerto Rican? It's mad at them niggas too. They put them on the side of the island, hide them. So you think when they come over here, you know what I mean? If you a mixed Puerto Rican, you not trying to, and if you was a black Puerto Rican, you come over here, you definitely not trying to get back into that bottom caste you was in Puerto Rico. So I feel like the dynamic, I feel like we could, like if we gonna have a coalition or any type of shit, it gotta be on mutual terms. And we putting our people first, just like them. That's all I was saying. I was like, I understand, see how you moving. So when we move this same way, don't be mad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's gonna be on like Donkey Kong when we get our shit.
But they are. As soon as we start coming together and be like, no, that's not right. Then again, they start talking about, well, Latinos. Well, listen, I don't have no problem with them people, but I don't see them out here fighting for me. Like fucking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez bitch ass had the nerve to say, what is black? We are all black. So I'm sorry, but y'all representatives are a problem. So either you throw out the motherfuckers representing you who are saying all this wild shit or not.
Yeah. Or like fighting for us. Like we need to see something. Like I need to see it. Like I need to see this black and brown coalition they keep talking about because I've never seen it. I might have seen a rap song, like a posse cut, you know.
For real. Fat Joe, you know what I mean? Rick Ross, I see that, but I don't know if you go to the Bronx and shit, but that's the dynamics of the communities. Even though we both live in poor communities, I tend to see up here that the Latinos own their shit though, and they own shit in our shit. We don't own nothing in their shit. So you feel me? Like, so it's a dynamic. It's a power dynamic.
It goes one way. Like we're like always accepting of everyone, and then you know, then like we act shocked when you know they're not accepting of us. Like I thought friends.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's all. We just want to own that. We just want our shit. We want to own our shit. Get our rightful place in this country. Get what was stolen from us, and to be left alone and be treated as the people that we is. That's all we want.
Hey.
But
hi.
Keep on playing with us. We gonna keep grilling you because we tired of this shit. You feel me? Like we tired of this shit.
That's it, and that's all. So are we done? We're done with this episode, right?
Yeah, we done.
All right, so we want to thank everybody for joining us here at Reset Race. You know, we told y'all what our Twitters are, and you know, if you want to holler and you got something to say, you feeling froggy, you got a problem, at me 17 trillion. And if you actually are like, you know what, maybe they were speaking some sense and maybe you interested in getting into a coalition, then you need to reach out at me 17 trillion. So bring the hate or bring the love. I don't give a fuck. We can do it. We can do this one way or the other, but trust and believe. Either y'all gonna give us reparations and we gonna fight with you so y'all can be fixed, or like I said to my Latino homegirl, we gonna hold y'all in this burning house and we all gonna burn down together because y'all motherfuckers ain't running up out this bitch with us to burn down. Anything y'all want to say for the goodbye, or we good?
We good.
All right, everybody have a good day.
No. You're listening to Reset Race. Be focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake. On the edge, go back to U.S. Southern plantations. Penniers, Jim Crow, and mass incarceration. Redlining lynchings, we are old from this nation. You're not about justice if you ain't for reparations. MG, the wise one, cousin mother intellectual. Samantha bringing fire, anti-black, we pressing you. No permanent friends and no permanent enemies. The backbone of the country, the win, you need our energy. You gon' see? Listening to Reset Race. You now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. Put them back on the